Hollywood director 1992. Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction. So please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter. And if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 26 When the Ballflower Knocks on the Door. Link, look here. Look here. Link drove back to the West Hollywood Youth apartment complex that afternoon. He'd barely parked when a chorus of shouts erupted from the surrounding apartment buildings, both men's and women's voices. A few days ago, he'd stopped and politely waved when he heard the shouts, but after being harassed so many times, he hadn't had time to pay attention anymore. Hey, Link, when's your next movie shooting? Could you give us a few small roles? As he entered apartment number 13, he encountered a group of 7 or 8 people, men and women, including the tattooed Eric. My next movie isn't confirmed yet. If we need actors, I'll give you priority, thank you. Thank you. Link, how about we go to the bar? Lots of people around here want to meet you. I just got back from the bar. I'm not going today. Link waved goodbye and went upstairs. Tisk, see that? That's the big director Link, making a movie with $20,000 and earning millions. The tattooed Eric watched Link's retreating figure, clicking his tongue in envy. So handsome. I wonder if he has a girlfriend, several women said, looking in the direction he'd left. Forget it. A few days ago, a group of women came here waiting for him, wanting to sleep with him. Link called the police directly. What a pity. It's okay, I'm still here. This year, 2 big directors have emerged in our apartment complex. Who knows, maybe a third, or even a fourth. I've decided, I'm going to find a school to study filmmaking tomorrow. I'm going to become a big director someday. Tattooed Eric waved his arm and led the restless group of men and women away. When Link returned to his apartment to pack his things, Chris Bauer came over for a visit, still wearing a tank top and shorts, showing off his muscles. Link, are you planning to move? Yes, it's inconvenient living here. I'll move out in a couple of days. True, you're a millionaire now, you can afford a mansion. I didn't buy a mansion, just a small apartment, not much bigger than this place. You can come and take a look sometime, okay? Chris Bauer crossed his arms and paced around the living room. Link continued packing. Since moving in more than 6 months ago, he had been busy making money and filming movies and hadn't bought much furniture. The most valuable items in the room were some books, including directing books, bestsellers, film magazines, and script copies. There weren't many other things. Link, will you continue directing? Chris Bauer circled around a few times before stopping. Of course, directing is my main job. Can I work with you? I don't make action movies. That's okay. I don't need to be an actor. I can do other jobs. When we were filming Buried, I managed props, sound equipment, and helped with lighting. I did a good job, didn't I? Okay, that's good. I've registered a film studio and am currently hiring, mainly for technical roles. You can go there for training for a while, and then join the crew when my film starts shooting. Okay, it's settled then. Link, thank you. Chris Bauer excitedly hugged him. Link waved goodbye and saw Chris Bauer off. Chris Bauer had indeed helped a lot during the filming of Buried, otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to manage alone. After the film's success, he gave Chris Bauer $20,000 as back pay. He'd let Chris Bauer go to work first to see if he could adapt to this kind of life. If not, there was no way to mentor him. After unpacking the 2 suitcases, Link rubbed his back and took a few sips of warm water from the glass on the table. Outside the window, the setting sun bathed the apartment building across the street in an orange glow, beautiful to look at, but unable to conceal the increasingly dilapidated walls and the trash swirling in the wind. Compared to the bustling Beverly Hills, there seemed to be nothing worth staying for here. Knock, knock, knock. A knock came at the door. Chris Bauer had just left. Whoever was knocking now was definitely an uninvited guest. He'd encountered this more than once in the past few days. Link didn't want to pay attention. Director Link, are you there? It's Monica, the person outside said softly. It was Monica Bellucci's voice. Link went to open the door, and Monica Bellucci stood there. She'd probably just showered, The scent of shower gel and perfume lingered on her. Wearing a light red, deep V dress with a thin belt at the waist, Monica's full bust and rounded hips accentuated her shapely figure. Her long, shapely legs were partially hidden beneath a hem. Monica had meticulously applied makeup beforehand, black eyeliner made her eyes appear large and expressive, and her red lips were full, making her even more radiant than the previous 2 times she had been seen. Monica Bellucci was a beauty, 28 years old, the prime of her life in terms of both looks and figure. Furthermore, her expression was no longer the aloof and indifferent one she had displayed before, it had become lively and vibrant, bright and beautiful like a blooming red rose. Good afternoon, Monica. Good afternoon, Director Link. Are you busy? I have a bottle of Italian red wine here, would you like to try it? Monica Bellucci raised her hand, holding a bottle of red wine with an Italian label. Good idea, please come in. After Monica entered, Link closed the door. Director Link, are you moving out? Monica Bellucci asked, looking at the boxes in the living room. Yes, I bought a small apartment in Beverly Hills, at 108 Wilshire Avenue, congratulations. You're amazing, making a film as great as Barrett, good luck. There were no wine glasses in Link's apartment, so he took 2 glasses, placed them on the low table, poured 2 glasses of red wine, and sat down opposite Monica Bellucci. The air was filled not only with the scent of women's perfume, but also with the rich aroma of red wine. This is wine from the Mamaran winery in Tuscany. How does it taste? Monica Bellucci took a sip of the red wine, her full red lips becoming moist. The taste is good, and the aroma is very fragrant, but I rarely drink red wine and don't know much about it. Chinese people like to drink baijiu, right? I've had baijiu before, it's in those small porcelain bottles, it's spicy, and I like it. That's Japanese sake, it's similar to baijiu. Link leaned back on the sofa, crossed his legs, and chatted casually with Monica Bellucci across from him. Monica Bellucci drank half a glass of red wine, her cheeks gradually turning a rosy red, her brown pupils slightly brightening. Link, the promotion for Barrett is over. When will the new movie you mentioned last time start filming? It's planned for next month. Next month? You said last time there was a suitable role for me, is that true? Yes, the next movie needs a female lead, but I'm not sure if you can handle it. Link boldly looked her face, her fair neck, her slightly sloping breasts, and half of her calves. Director Link, I filmed more than 10 movies and TV series in Italy before, and I also gained some experience on the set of Bram Stoker's Dracula. You can give me a try. Monica Bellucci appeared excited, her chest heaving more, indicating that she was quite nervous and clearly valued this opportunity. Chapter 27 Monica's Efforts. Link leaned back on the sofa, tapping his knee with his fingers, carefully examining the woman before him. He was considering whether to cast her as the wife in Paranormal Activity. This role was originally intended for an amateur, not particularly difficult to perform, any woman with acting experience could easily handle it. However, Monica Bellucci's beauty and figure were too striking. Using her in this found-footage horror film might draw excessive attention to her appearance and physique, diminishing the film's horror elements. But this was a live-streamed documentary, filming the daily lives of the male and female leads, including chatting, cooking, eating, brushing their teeth, playfully fighting, and being affectionate. Using a top-tier actress with both looks and figure could add some appeal. Casting her as the female lead was also an option. Monica, the new film is a horror movie. The female lead is an ordinary woman, with average looks and figure. I need to see what you look like without makeup. Is that alright? Sure. Director Link, may I use your restroom? Over there. Link pointed towards the restroom. Monica got up and walked barefoot into the bathroom. She came out a moment later, her makeup much lighter, her original 9 out of 10 beauty rating had dropped to around 8, but she was still a beauty. She was tall and curvaceous, and even in ordinary clothes, her sexy curves were undeniable. Casting her in this role would likely require hiring an extra professional makeup artist. But it was worth a try. Whether she would ultimately be cast as the lead depended mainly on Monica's willingness and performance. Director Link, are there any other adjustments needed? Please let me know, and I'll definitely do them. Monica Bellucci stood with her legs together and her hands in front of her lower abdomen. Wait a minute, this is the script. Read the script first, then decide whether you want to participate in this movie. Link got up and took out the script for Paranormal Activity from a drawer. Paranormal Activity was an experimental film. All the shots were filmed indoors, with 4 actors and over 1,000 lines of dialogue. The script wasn't long. Monica Bellucci spent over 20 minutes reading the entire script. Monica held the script, hesitant. While the female lead had a significant role in the film, even more than the male lead, the production budget was too low, and the artistic quality wasn't high. Acting in it wouldn't significantly benefit her career. However, this hesitation lasted only 3 seconds before she gave up. She had originally worked in Italy, and after her divorce, she went to Paris, France, as a fashion model, with mediocre results. Last year, she came to Hollywood, auditioning many times, but only landed a small role in Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. She hadn't been successful with other film roles because her appearance was too striking, she wasn't famous enough for leading roles, and she was too attention-grabbing for supporting roles. She didn't want to do bit parts. Her lack of work led to financial difficulties, forcing her to move from a comfortable resort hotel to a cheap youth apartment. She needed work to solve her financial problems and a hit film to help her establish herself in Hollywood. And among her limited connections, Link was the best choice. When they first met, Link was a brash, ordinary young man. The second time they met, Link was struggling to pay his rent and nearly homeless. She had witnessed Link's most desperate moments and thought he was just one of countless ordinary dreamers in that youth apartment. But after that day, things began to change. Link's name appeared more and more frequently in the media, and posters for Barrett began appearing on billboards in major Los Angeles cinemas. When they met again, Link had become a famous Hollywood director, movie star, worth millions, and an object of admiration for countless people. Playing the female lead in his new film was definitely an opportunity not to be missed. Director Link, I'd like to try for this role. I hope you can give me a chance. Monica Bellucci looked at Link, a perfectly placed vulnerability on her face. Okay, you can try. But before filming, you need to do some preparation, become more ordinary, and understand how to act in horror movies. If the audition goes poorly, I can only apologize. I understand. I will definitely try my best. Monica Bellucci nodded, the smile blooming from her lips and eyes making her even more stunning. After discussing the script, Monica Bellucci got up to leave. Link didn't try to stop her. He could tell that Monica was prepared to offer herself in exchange for the role, and Link also had thoughts of taking advantage of her, but taking advantage meant taking responsibility, and he didn't want to take responsibility or cause trouble for himself. He wouldn't casually put his hands on a woman's thighs or waist and grope her before she was willingly lying in bed with him. Doing so would seem lewd. Even if the woman didn't object and smiled and flattered him to his face, she would still categorize him as a lewd man and secretly despise him in her heart or behind his back. As a veteran filmmaker, he had seen too much of this. Now that he was in Hollywood, there were countless high-quality beauties, and he didn't need to and disdained using such methods to capture his prey. That morning, while he was moving, his agent, Sam Haskell, came to his door. Sam Haskell was an agent under WMA William Morris Agency, 38 years old, a German-American, whose maternal grandfather was Chinese, and he had 1/8 Chinese ancestry. With an ordinary appearance and average height, aside from his dark brown eyes and thick, neatly trimmed eyebrows, there was nothing else particularly noteworthy about him. This was the second time Link had met Sam Haskell. The first time was during the promotion of Barrett in New York. After Barrett's huge success, the three major Hollywood talent agencies, CAA, Creative Artists Agency, WMA, William Morris Agency, and ICM, Innovation Management International, as well as the newly established UTA, United Talent Agency, all sent representatives to contact him, hoping to sign him. Link considered that he didn't currently have many agency matters that needed an agency's help. He also didn't want to be bossed around by an agency after joining, having unsuitable actors placed in his films, thus lowering the quality of his films. Therefore, he didn't accept any offers from any agency. However, after talking with Quentin Tarantino and others yesterday, he changed his mind somewhat. The entertainment industry is a circle, but also a battlefield. Within the industry, centered around the major agencies, there are many small factions, each fighting and vying for fame and fortune. These things may seem frustrating. But this is the norm in the entertainment industry. Those who haven't officially entered the circle haven't truly stepped onto the Hollywood stage, they're essentially free agents. For these individuals to achieve a stable career in Hollywood and monopolize all the benefits is extremely difficult, especially for someone of Link's Asian appearance. Hiring an agency to manage their affairs, including handling public relations, managing film awards, and connecting them with actors and production crews is something to consider. This has its pros and cons. Whether to join, and which agency to join, depends on the sincerity of several agencies. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28 is also a chapter of martial arts. Haha, Link, are you moving? Why not hire a moving company? Sam Haskell walked into the living room and asked familiarly. Just a few boxes, I can take them by car. Link made 2 cups of tea and placed them on the low table to entertain Sam Haskell. The news reports said you went through a lot of hardships to make the movie, and seeing your place, it's certainly true. But the result is good. You've become a box office miracle creator, a dazzling genius director, and you deserve it. Thank you. I just made a relatively successful film. I can't call myself a genius director, Link said modestly. You can. In the past few decades, directors who created low-budget box office miracles when they were young have all had good careers later on. Spielberg, David Lynch, James Cameron are all examples. Link, the difference between you and them is that you became famous at a younger age. I believe your future development in the entertainment industry will not be inferior to theirs. Sam Haskell paused, looked up, and in the sunlight reflecting off the window, his dark brown eyes shone slightly. However, early fame brings a lot of trouble. You'll attract jealousy and resentment from many people. Like Robert Downey Jr. publicly criticizing you and not apologizing afterwards, followed by numerous negative news reports about you. These are all open and covert attacks. If you were a client of our agency, we would handle these situations for you immediately to prevent damage to your public image. I know you want to be a pure film director, quietly making movies, but this is Hollywood, an arena of fame and fortune. No one can remain untouched here, and no one can gain recognition as a bystander. Link, do you understand what I mean? Yes, I understand, and I agree with you. However, I've heard that agencies like to interfere in their clients' work, causing them to miss out on many good projects, receive many bad scripts, or even worse things. These are the reasons for my hesitation, Link said, shrugging. Sam Haskell picked up his water glass, took a sip, and smelled a faint whiff of alcohol. He didn't mind, put down the glass, and smiled. Link, this isn't just why you hesitate, it's what many people think before joining a talent agency. Everyone hopes for a pleasant working experience with the agency, not one filled with conflicts and disputes. As a talent agency, to be profitable and grow, you wouldn't target your clients without reason. Doing so would not only damage the relationship between the client and the company, but also affect the company's reputation and weaken its influence. No company would easily attempt something that doesn't benefit its development. Our William Morris Agency is the oldest talent agency in Hollywood, established since 1898, representing tens of thousands of stars. Among all the agencies in Hollywood, William Morris isn't the most profitable, but its reputation is the best. In the past nearly a century, we've had very, very few scandals. You can check that. While CAA is powerful, it often interferes with its clients' work, resulting in the most conflicts. ICM, on the other hand, focuses more on singers. Link, if you agree to join WMA, we can stipulate in the contract that we won't interfere with your personal film projects. For example, you can decide what movies to shoot, what scripts to accept, and what actors to use. It's all up to you. We not only won't interfere, but we also won't take a commission. We'll only take a commission on projects in which the company is involved, including scripts the company helps us get, the production team we help assemble, and advertising endorsements we secure. In other words, we'll take a commission based on the amount of work the company does. We won't get anything for nothing for work we're not involved in. This can be written into the contract. Oh, you won't interfere with my personal film projects, and you won't take a commission from that? If all the films I shoot in the next few years are personal projects, and WMA can't get any benefits from me, then what are the benefits of signing me? Link asked. Haha, there are many benefits. First, the fact that you can direct multiple films without the company's help demonstrates your exceptional talent as a director. Signing a client like you is undoubtedly an intangible asset. Second, as a member of WMA, we can get advance notice when you're about to shoot a film and recommend suitable actors. Of course, it's just a recommendation, Whether you actually use them is entirely up to you, but that's still a resource. Finally, this is Hollywood, an arena of fame and fortune. No one can work alone forever. The benefits of working alone are definitely less than those of teamwork. You might doubt this now that you haven't worked with a company, but after you have, you'll definitely believe it. I believe you understand this too. Sam Haskell paused here, winked, and smiled. You're a very promising director. Being signed by us is better than being signed by a competitor. The last 2 points were the key. Sam Haskell believed that as long as Link was in Hollywood, he couldn't work alone forever. The reason was that Link couldn't guarantee every film would be profitable, nor could he guarantee a smooth career. If his next film, or the one after that, loses money or underperforms at the box office, Link will proactively seek help from the agency. Or, if Link wants to go further in his directing career, direct blockbusters, earn higher directorial fees, and win film awards, he will also need the help of the agency. Ultimately, signing Link was also a necessity for the agency's development. Before 1975, WMA was the most powerful agency in Hollywood and the undisputed leader in the industry. In 1975, 5 frustrated agents under WMA, Michael Ovitz, Ron Mayer, Martin Baum, William Harper, and Roland Perkins, left WMA in anger due to their dissatisfaction with the seniority-based system within WMA and founded CAA. After more than a decade of development, CAA became the most powerful agency in the world, representing countless artists. Especially after the death of its former leader in 1986, WMA was completely overwhelmed by CAA, suffering a significant loss of clients. The company needed to acquire new, potentially promising clients to strengthen its power and influence. Link, a director who had created box office miracles at only 20 years old, was a perfect target. When his agency was interested in signing Link, Sam Haskell volunteered to sign him. Initially, he thought it would be an easy job. Many people would excitedly and quickly accept an offer from a major agency like WMA, seeing it as an honor. Considering Link was only 20 years old, from an ordinary background, and had little connection in the industry, he thought the job would be even easier. However, Link refused. Faced with WMA's offer, Link wasn't as excited as expected. Displaying a maturity and rationality beyond his years during the conversation, Sam Haskell had to take this seriously. After discussing with his agency, he approached Link again, offering more attractive terms to secure his signature and prevent competitors from snatching him away. Given Link's composed and stubborn nature, Sam Haskell decided to win him over with sincerity. Link, joining a brokerage firm will definitely bring more benefits than not joining. Even if you don't join WMA, I still think so. I hope you'll reconsider WMA and let the WMA brokerage team protect your career. Sam Haskell stared intently at Link with his dark brown eyes, his expression very sincere. Mr. Haskell, what you said is very good. Please let me think about it and give you an answer within 3 days. Okay, Link, I look forward to your good news. After seeing Sam Haskell off, Link continued packing and moving. Chapter 29. Guess who the movie industry is? Link. Link, are you moving? Link, are you moving to Beverly Hills? As Link and Chris Bauer carried the cardboard boxes downstairs, a group of young men and women swarmed around them, greeting them and asking after them. Yes, I'm renting a small apartment over there. Link put the boxes into the trunk of his car. So enviable. I want to work hard to make movies and become a movie star, so I can move to Beverly Hills too. Beverly Hills, the mecca of filmmakers, it's so desirable. Hundreds of people surrounded Link and his Cadillac, their faces overflowing with envy. The idea of working hard in film is great. The film industry has developed rapidly in recent years. In 1988, the total North American box office was only $3.5 billion, but last year it grew to $4.3 billion. The number of films being made each year is increasing, and the demand for film actors is also increasing. These are all opportunities for everyone. As long as you work hard, you can become a star in the future, live in a Beverly Hills mansion, and maybe even be more successful than me. Link looked at the group of peers, pumped his fist, and said, so everyone, keep going. I hope that one day we can meet again in Beverly Hills and continue to be neighbors. Well said. Clap, clap, clap. Many people applauded excitedly, and some with tears in their eyes shed tears on the spot. Link waved his hand and suddenly saw Monica Bellucci looking at him from behind the railing on the 3rd floor. Seeing him look over, Monica raised her hand and waved, her cold and beautiful face suddenly blooming with a bright smile. Link waved back to her, opened the car door and got in. Chris Bauer said he wanted to go to his place to help move furniture, so he got in the car as well. Two beeping sounds echoed between the apartment buildings. A brand new Cadillac, its silver gray gleaming in the bright Los Angeles sunshine, sped from the youth apartment area towards the bustling Beverly Hills like a silver lightning bolt. Wow, this place is so beautiful. Luxury stores everywhere, upscale clubs. Look, that girl is so sexy, looks like Jennifer Connelly, such big breasts. Wow, look there, living here must be amazing. Chris Bauer, sitting in the passenger seat, peered out at the vibrant Beverly Avenue. Beverly Avenue is one of the two largest shopping streets in Beverly Hills, the other being Rodeo Drive, connecting Beverly Hills to downtown Los Angeles. This street, less than 3 kilometers long, is home to almost every top brand in the world, including Chanel, LV, Armani, Dolce & Gabbana, as well as many haute couture boutiques, upscale restaurants, bars, galleries, clubs, and the most luxurious hotels. This is a true money pit. People in Beverly Hills generally don't haggle, haggling is considered beneath them. On the main driveway, luxury cars abound. Link's Cadillac DeVille is merely a mid-range vehicle here. Link, how much are the houses here? I need to calculate how much I need to save to buy one. An apartment in a regular residential area can cost $1 million, and mansions cost tens of millions. You see them in magazines. A million? God, please tell me how to earn $1 million. Chris Bauer flexed his arm muscles, as if that would give him a way to make money. The car drove to apartment 102 at the south end of Wilshire Avenue, also known as the Golden Oaks. There are 3 high-rise apartment buildings, A, B, and C, facing the street. And 2 more, D and E, near Beverly General Park, each with 16 floors. Each floor has 2 to 4 apartments, depending on the size of the building. Each apartment has 2 elevators, one for common use and one directly connecting to the building, making it very convenient. Most of the residents here are from the entertainment industry, some own property, others rent, belonging to the middle class within the entertainment circle. When buying the apartment, the real estate agent told him that big stars like Mel Gibson, Oscar-winning actress Jodie Foster, and renowned director James Cameron also owned property here. However, the agent didn't specify which building their properties were in. Taking the elevator to the 12th floor of Building C, Chris Bauer surveyed the luxurious interior, touching the soft carpets, beautiful wallpaper, and dazzling crystal chandeliers, the panoramic floor-to-ceiling windows facing Wilshire Boulevard, his exclamations of amazement ringing out. Link made a phone call, and within half an hour, a furniture company delivered a pre-ordered set of furniture, sofas, tables, cabinets, and art pieces, mostly Italian brands in a subtly luxurious style. Once the furniture was in place, the apartment gradually transformed into a home. After seeing Chris Bauer off, Link drove to Guess the Movies on Hollywood Boulevard and spoke with the newly appointed production manager, Daniel DeVito. Daniel DeVito, 45, was once an actor, playing important supporting roles in hit films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Taxi Driver. However, his appearance wasn't striking. He had a large head, was balding, overweight, and wore black-rimmed glasses, limiting him to minor roles. As he aged, his acting opportunities narrowed. From the mid-1980s, DeVito entered the film production industry, working for 5 years at 20th Century Fox, where he participated in the production of films such as The War of the Roses, J. Edgar, and Two Brothers, becoming an experienced, albeit somewhat mediocre, producer. When Link started his film company, he posted a job advertisement at the Producers Guild headquarters, seeking an experienced producer. After posting the advertisement, he received over 10 resumes. After reviewing these resumes, Link spoke with 3 of them by phone, ultimately selecting Daniel DeVito as the production manager for Guess.com. Besides DeVito, the company also included Michael Leeson, who oversaw all company affairs, and 3 other employees. Including Link and Chris Bauer, who hadn't yet joined, there were 7 people in total, forming the core framework of Guess the Movies. Currently, the company's main tasks are threefold. First, to continue liaising with United Theaters and 20th Century Fox to ensure that subsequent box office revenue sharing is returned to the company's account on time. Second, to handle the pre-production work for new films, helping to find filming locations and recruiting technical talent. Link, as a director, can't work alone forever. He will be directing big-budget productions in the future, and he needs a few regular crew members for better teamwork during filming. Third, to collect scripts, acquire film adaptation rights to best-selling books, and also participate in the investment and production of suitable small film projects. Link: according to your requirements, I found 5 properties. Take a look and see if any of them are satisfactory. Daniel DeVito pulled up a chair, sat at his desk, and pushed the documents in front of him. Link opened them and looked through them. The properties all had similar interior design styles, with just a few minor adjustments during filming. They could all be used as filming locations. Link looked at the addresses and rental information of several properties and chose a reasonably priced, relatively remote residence in Irvine, south of Los Angeles, a little over an hour's drive from Beverly Hills, not too far. Link handed the property information to Daniel DeVito, asking him to arrange for the property to be rented and the set to be set up according to his sketches. Link: how do we cast the actors? Should we send out audition notices? No need. I'll handle the male lead. I have someone in mind for the female lead. Are you interested in acting? You can play the psychic. For the supporting actresses, we'll choose from the extras. They don't need much acting skill, and the price has to be cheap, since our budget is limited. Okay, I understand. Daniel DeVito grinned. The news said Link earned millions from making movies, and after joining Guess Who, he thought he was working for a wealthy boss. As it turned out, this boss was incredibly stingy when making movies. His previous film had a production cost of $20,000, and the budget for his second film was no more than $20,000. He wanted the cheapest set, the cheapest actors, and even he, the producer, had to make a cameo appearance. He was nothing like other directors who wanted the best of everything when making movies. Link was probably used to a frugal lifestyle and couldn't bear to spend money, and as the company's producer, he felt obligated to advise Link. Link: are you sure you only need $20,000 to shoot this movie? I mean, the company isn't short of money right now, why not invest more? Daniel: I've shown you the script. Shutter has a very simple plot, shot with a handheld DV camera. It only needs $20,000 to make. Why spend more? Link: I understand what you're saying. Daniel DeVito hesitated for a few seconds, adjusted his glasses, and said, what I mean is, should we change the script? Change the script? Why? Link: you're a famous Hollywood director now. Many people are paying attention to your second film. I think you should be more careful when choosing your second movie. While Shutter is an interesting story, the plot is too simple, and the shooting method is quite risky. In my experience, not many people will watch this kind of movie, so I hope you'll be more cautious and choose a more mature script. Daniel DeVito spoke haltingly, a layer of oily sweat appearing on his shiny forehead. I understand what you mean, but don't worry, this film only cost $20,000 to make. Even if it fails, it won't be a big deal, and I'm confident I can make a good film. Daniel, you're the producer, so don't worry about what I'm filming. Just focus on your production work. That's the biggest help you can give me. Okay, I understand. Hearing this, Daniel DeVito didn't say anything more and got up to leave the office. Link continued reading books and newspapers in his office. Michael Leeson, the administrative supervisor, came to report on work, mainly regarding the purchase of office furniture and equipment, the progress of staff recruitment, and financial approvals. The company had just opened, and things were complicated. Link was busy filming and didn't have much time or energy to handle these miscellaneous matters. He planned to have Michael Leeson hire a work assistant. In the future, company matters would be handled by the assistant, who would then report back to him. This would be more efficient and would also prevent unexpected situations from arising when he was not in the office. Also, get me a larger desk, preferably one made from a single piece of mahogany. Link tapped the surface with his fingers. The desk, pieced together from planks, didn't feel very sturdy. He preferred a large desk in his dream. A woman with Nicole Kidman's figure could lie on it and wriggle without it wobbling. Yes, boss, I'll have someone change it later. Michael Leeson noted it down. Chapter 30. Beautiful young woman. Ring 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 ring. Link, are you busy? Your sister Zyali is in America. Do you have time to come back and visit? Sister Zyali. Hearing the Mandarin dialect coming from the receiver, Link rubbed his temples. His hippocampus swelled, and some memories that weren't his own flooded in. Liu Zyali, you forgot? In 1986, she came to Los Angeles with a domestic song and dance troupe and stayed at my house for over a month. You often visited her during that time. Aunt Pei reminded him on the phone. Oh, I remember now, is she with you now? Okay, I have time this afternoon. Good, I should be able to get there by the time you've finished cooking. Hanging up the phone, Link continued to look at the documents and signed several purchase orders. Around 3 p.m., Link left Guessing Movies and drove to El Monte, east of Los Angeles. El Monte is a city in Los Angeles County, about 30 kilometers from downtown, similar to a suburb of a large city. The population here is small, around 100,000, of which 5% are Chinese. With rising housing prices in the city center in recent years, the number of Chinese settling here has increased. My predecessor lived here for a few years. Originally a pure-blooded Chinese, my predecessor was adopted by an American couple from an orphanage when I was 2 or 3 years old. They brought me from China to Appleton, Wisconsin, in the northeastern United States, making me an American citizen. When I was 9, my adoptive parents divorced, and I moved with my adoptive mother to El Monte, Los Angeles. When I was 15, my adoptive mother died of a heart attack. Not wanting to be sent back to an orphanage, I ran away to work as a child laborer at a Chinese restaurant near El Monte. There, I met the restaurant owner, Aunt Pei, and received some help from her. I spent over 3 years in El Monte before moving to Los Angeles at 18 to work. I worked as a porter at a juice factory and sometimes as an extra on film sets. Once, while working as a stunt double, I accidentally fell from a scaffold. I felt fine at the time, but died suddenly that night. The Liu Xiaoli mentioned by Aunt Pei was her cousin. Several years ago, when he came to Los Angeles for a performance, he visited Aunt Pei. His predecessor, seeing Liu Xiaoli's beauty, offered to be her guide, showing her around like a devoted admirer. The car drove to South El Monte and stopped in front of a Chinese restaurant along Valley Boulevard. The restaurant wasn't large, with a sign outside saying Old Northeastern Restaurant, and the walls were painted a distinctively Chinese red. Link got out of the car with a gift and went inside to talk to Aunt Pei and her husband. The Chinese diners greeted him warmly, saying his film was a huge success in America, which was remarkable. Link politely responded. While they were talking, a strikingly beautiful young woman came down from upstairs. She had long, flowing black hair, a tall figure, and wore a beige coat and black pencil pants, exuding an outstanding aura. What was most captivating about her was her gentle, mature charm. Her almond-shaped eyes were bright and sparkling, and when she looked at someone, it was easy to mistake her for flirting. This was the Xiaoli Aunt Pei had mentioned. To Link's surprise, this sister Xiaoli looked very much like the actress he had met in the industry in his previous life, only much younger and prettier, with smooth, radiant skin, without the wrinkles he remembered. You're Link? It's been years. You've grown so much, and you're so handsome, like a completely different person. As he sized up Liu Xiaoli, she smiled and looked him up and down. Liu Xiaoli was a little shorter than him, about 1.7 meters tall, and she tilted her head slightly upwards, a smile playing on her lips. It's been 5 or 6 years, Sister Xiaoli, you're still so beautiful, like a fairy, haha, you've changed a lot. Not only have you become more handsome, but you've also become more flirtatious. I remember you used to blush easily when you talked. Liu Xiaoli pointed at his face and laughed. Yes, back then I was a little boy, and that's the kind of expression little boys have when they see pretty older women. Aunt Pei, listen to him talk, he sounds like a 30 or 40-year-old man, all smooth talk. Liu Xiaoli laughed at Aunt Pei beside her. Link is an adult now. Don't adults talk like this? Aunt Pei smiled and invited the two to the dining table inside. A large table of Chinese dishes was laid out, including twice-cooked pork with dried bamboo shoots, General Tso's chicken, clear eel soup, and 4 happiness meatballs. Sichuan, Shandong, and Cantonese cuisines were all available. During the meal, Link and Liu Xiaoli chatted about her trip to the United States. Liu Xiaoli had come to the U.S. a little over a month ago, initially in New York, where she played a minor role in the Chinese-produced TV series. A native of Beijing in New York, she had arrived in Los Angeles recently, intending to find work and settle down. Settling down here? You must be married by now. Doesn't your husband care about you? We divorced last year due to personality clashes. I'm raising my daughter now. Liu Xiaoli brushed her hair aside, her expression calm, as if the divorce hadn't affected her. Your daughter came here too? Yes, I brought Kyankian with me, a strong woman, Link joked. Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes at him, her gentle demeanor instantly turning into a fiery one. HMPH, men are all unreliable. What can a woman do if she doesn't become strong? Wait to starve to death? How's the job search going? Planning to continue being an actress, Lin K took a sip of soup with his spoon. No, I just want to settle down as soon as possible. I'm not picky about jobs. Liu Xiaoli looked at him, a hint of hesitation and struggle on her face, then suddenly became decisive, and smiled. Xiao Lindsay, the news says you've become a big director. Do you have any connections to help me find a job? I can dance, I know English, and I can speak a little French. Sure, you said you're not picky about jobs? Really not picky about anything. It has to be a respectable job. I wouldn't dare do a job dancing in a nightclub. People back home would laugh at me to death. We're friends. Why would I introduce you to that kind of job? Lin K put down his spoon and looked at Liu Xiaoli, saying, I have a film company that's hiring. We're short-staffed for positions like finance, public relations, assistant, and logistics supervisor. Think about it, tell me which position you think is suitable, and I'll arrange it. Okay, you said it, I won't stand on ceremony, Liu Xiaoli said with a smile. Don't be polite, we're family. Wow, your Mandarin is getting more and more standard. Looks like you've practiced a lot in private, Liu Xiaoli teased. Of course, no matter where we are proud Chinese at heart. My heart is pounding with Chinese feelings here. So naturally I can't be unaware of Chinese, Link said, pointing to his chest. Haha, you've definitely changed. You're much more interesting than when you were a kid, just a bit glib, not as honest as before. Liu Xiaoli peeled a large shrimp and placed the smooth shell on his plate. That's how Americans talk, they say what they mean. You'll get used to it in a few months. After eating at Aunt Pei's restaurant, Link left his contact information with Liu Xiaoli, drove away from El Monte, and returned to Beverly Hills. On the way, he received a call from Monica Bellucci. Monica asked you if he was free the next day. She wanted to meet him for coffee and discuss the script and the role. Link told her the address of the Guess the Movies studio and asked her to meet him at the company the next afternoon. Chapter 31 Apartment Neighbors. After his morning run on Wilshire Avenue, Link went to the fitness center at the Golden Oak Apartments to work out. Although Golden Oak Apartments was a mid to high-end apartment complex, it boasted excellent facilities. Within the complex were restaurants, a hospital, a large indoor gym, and a tennis court in the common area. Furthermore, there were many fitness clubs along Wilshire Avenue, and the Franklin Aquatic Center wasn't far away. Staying here made exercising very convenient. As a director, good health was also crucial. After settling down, Link planned to intensify his physical training, not wanting to waste his 10% fitness boost. Hi, Link, you're Director Link, right? At the fitness center, as Link was sweating on the resistance bands, a familiar face suddenly peeked over from the side, looking him up and down. The man was around 30 years old, with long, parted, blonde hair, wearing a floral shirt over a white vest, gray athletic shorts, a yellow towel draped around his neck, and sweat dripping down his face. Although the face looked a bit younger than he remembered, Link still recognized him at a glance, the future comedy master Jim Carrey, known as the Hollywood Stephen Chow. However, Jim Carrey is currently only considered a near second-tier actor in the industry. His only notable work to date is the television sketch Vivid Colors, which tells the story of Black life. He plays the second male lead, a quirky white man, similar to Hong Kong-style Mo Lei Tao, nonsensical comedy, a style that quickly gained him recognition in Hollywood. Hello, Mr. Carrey. It's a pleasure to meet you here, Link said, wiping his hands with a towel and shaking hands with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's real name is Jim Carrey, a very common name in the US, similar to Li Ming or Zhang Hui, but the Chinese translation Jim Carrey sounds quite unique. Haha, Director Link, it's a pleasure to meet you here too. You live here too? Jim Carrey shook his hand. Yes, I just moved here, that's great. I live here too. I live on the 8th floor of Building D. Do you like playing tennis? We can play together sometime. Basketball too? Sure. Either is fine. After chatting for a bit, Jim Carrey waved goodbye and ran to the treadmill next door to exercise. Jim Carrey seemed very lively when he spoke, like a comedic character from a movie, but once he stopped talking and his face was expressionless, he exuded a melancholic and cold aura. He was truly a complex person. He finished his workout at 9 o'clock. As Link walked out of the gym, he saw a man who looked like James Cameron in the distance. The man was around 40 years old, tall and thin, with a stubble beard. He was walking and talking with a woman, and before Link could greet him, the two of them entered the elevator together. The man was indeed director James Cameron, and the woman beside him was Linda Hamilton, the female lead of last year's blockbuster movie Terminator 2, and James Cameron's future fourth wife. Link left the gym, glancing back at the surrounding buildings. Meeting two future superstars here that morning made him realize this apartment complex was full of hidden talents. After breakfast, Link drove to guess the movies on Hollywood Boulevard. Besides CEO Michael Leeson, Chris Bauer was already there. The bodybuilder was dressed more formally today, in a Hugo Boss blue pinstripe shirt, gray casual trousers, and shiny pointed leather shoes. His clothes and shoes were relatively new, probably bought yesterday. However, the shirt seemed a size too small, stretched taut by his muscles on his arms and chest, looking rather incongruous with his short, thick eyebrows and flat nose. "Link, you're here, why so early?" Link greeted Michael Leeson and pushed open the office door. "I feel like I can't go back. After returning from your mansion, the more I look at the youth apartments, the more they seem like dog houses. I really want to make money now, buy a house in Beverly Hills, or at least rent. Take your time, there will be opportunities. Oh, by the way, this is your email. Lucy asked me to bring it to you." Chris Bauer pulled a FedEx mailbag from behind his back. "Go see Mr. Michael Leeson to complete your onboarding process. The company is quite busy right now, so you can help out with some work if needed. We'll assign you specific tasks later." "Okay, I'll do as you say." Chris Bauer closed the door and left the office. Link opened the mailbag with a paper cutter. Inside was a document, an email from Tor Books Publishing. Tor Books is the largest science fiction publisher in the United States. More than 4 months ago, Link submitted 2 short science fiction stories to Tor Books, hoping to earn some startup capital with the royalties. However, after submitting the manuscripts, there was no response. More than 4 months later, Tor Books finally replied. The letter was from Liz Grinsky, the associate editor at Tor Books. In it, Grinsky praised Link's 2 science fiction works, Source Code and The Man from Earth, calling them excellent novels and announcing the publisher's intention to publish them. However, he hadn't included a phone number in his contact information, and Grinsky hoped Link would call back as soon as possible after receiving the letter. Link glanced at the date. It had been sent from New York last Wednesday. He couldn't help but marvel at Tor Books' shockingly slow processing of author submissions. Apparently, after Brendan Sanderson, author of The Mistborn, submitted his debut novel, Atlantis, to Tor Books, the publisher only called him a year later to inform him that his manuscript had been selected. Link put down the email, sat in his office chair, and dialed the number in the letter. Grinsky's secretary answered and transferred the call to Grinsky's desk. "Hello, is this Mr. Link?" A deep, resonant voice came through the receiver. "Hello, Editor-in-Chief Grinsky, this is Link, thank God. Mr. Link, I've finally gotten in touch with you," Editor-in-Chief Grinsky shouted excitedly. Hearing his shout, anyone who didn't know better would think he had finally found his long-lost son after a long and arduous journey. In reality, after Link submitted his 2 novels to the publisher, it took more than 4 months for them to send a letter, with no response whatsoever in between. Mr. Link, your 2 novels are very original and imaginative. Reading your novels is like watching a vivid science fiction blockbuster. They not only have a spiritual impact but also evoke wonderful associations with the world. I really like both novels. We plan to publish them next month. If you agree, I will immediately arrange for someone to come and sign the publishing contract with you. Mr. Link, what are your thoughts, Mr. Grinsky? I'm very glad you like my 2 novels. I also look forward to working with Tor Books. Link was happy and somewhat surprised to receive Grinsky's approval. He hadn't read the original novels of The Man from Earth and Source Code. While writing these 2 novellas, I based them entirely on the films, adding my own insights into the world and incorporating numerous details and narration into the plot, resulting in an originality of over 30%. I never expected them to be appreciated by Liz Grinsky. Tor Books is one of the most renowned science fiction publishers in the US and the world. Known for its rigorous review process, demanding innovation, creativity, and a logically sound structure, its acceptance rate is reportedly less than 1 in 10,000. However, works that receive Tor Books approval are of very high quality. They publish works for almost every Hugo and Nebula Award, nurturing many science fiction writers. Even later works like The Three-Body Problem were published by Tor Books. Liz Greensky, the deputy editor of Tor Books, is a highly respected figure in the science fiction world, not only a science fiction writer but also a judge for several science fiction awards. Receiving his praise indicates that my rewrites of source code and The Man from Earth were quite successful. Chapter 32 Temporary Assistant. Great, Mr. Link, I'd like to discuss the writing of 2 short stories with you. Do you have time? Editor-in-Chief Greensky asked. Link glanced at his watch. He wasn't busy at the moment. He picked up the phone and chatted with Editor-in-Chief Greensky about his creative inspiration and motivation. He introduced himself as Liz Greensky, the director of Barrett, explaining that his inspiration for the science fiction novels came from the film. Liz Greensky hadn't seen Barrett, but he had seen information about the film in the newspapers and knew of Link as a director. Knowing he was a famous director, Editor-in-Chief Greensky became even more enthusiastic during the conversation, asking if Link had any other works, and if so, if they could be compiled into a science fiction collection. Link said he had several more stories, and he planned to publish science fiction films such as Interstellar, Gravity, and The Martian in novel form. Editor-in-Chief Greensky said he couldn't wait to read his new works and hoped he could finish them and submit them to the publisher soon. Okay, Mr. Greensky, I'll mail a few copies to the publisher after I finish writing them. Link hung up the phone and looked up at the door. Come in. The office door was pushed open from the outside, and Liu Xiaoli walked in. She was dressed more formally than yesterday, wearing a white women's blouse and a dark gray high-waisted pencil skirt. The blouse was tucked into the skirt, revealing her graceful figure. She wore white mid-heeled shoes. Her long black hair was styled in a bun at the back of her head. Her eyebrows were drawn in a dark, arched style, and her lips were strawberry-colored. She looked younger and more radiant than yesterday, clean and efficient, possessing both the gentle grace of a young woman and the vitality of a young girl. Link, are you busy? Liu Xiaoli stood knee-to-knee in the doorway, smiling. No rush? Sister Xiaoli, you look beautiful in this outfit. No, you look beautiful too. It's rare to see a beauty with your Eastern charm in America. Every time I see you, I can't help but be amazed. Always amazed? I'm not a third wheel, I can't always be flashing. Liu Xiaoli rolled her eyes at him. When she wasn't speaking, she was like a gentle and docile young woman from the Jiangnan water towns, but when she spoke, she was like a spicy Sichuanese. Sister Xiaoli, why did you come today? Where's Kaianqian? Where do you live? Link left his desk and invited Liu Xiaoli to sit down on the sofa. I'm free today, so I came over to take a look. Kaianqian is with Aunt Pei. I asked her to look after her for the day. Have you seen the company? The company is newly established, the office area isn't big, and there are only 7 or 8 people for now. The company is very good. The office area is large, very close to Hollywood Boulevard, and the environment here is excellent, much better than I imagined. Liu Xiaoli spoke with a smile, clearly satisfied with the office location. What kind of work are you planning to do? Have you decided yet? Link poured her a cup of tea. How about being an assistant? I might not be good at other things, but I can definitely be an assistant. I'm afraid you're not suitable to be an assistant. Why? The work of an assistant is very complicated, including serving tea and water, organizing documents, answering phones, contacting and arranging work, etc. Sometimes when I'm filming a movie, you have to come with me. Often for months at a time. I can do all of that. I'm not some rich girl. What's a little hardship? Liu Xiaoli said readily. It's nothing, but don't forget you're a mother. You have a 4 or 5-year-old girl at home to take care of. This is America, not China. We're unfamiliar with the place, and no one but you can take good care of her. You're right. If I'm away from home for too long, Kaianqian will be scared. I didn't expect you to be so thoughtful. Thank you for the compliment. You could try being a finance manager, or become Michael's assistant and help manage the company. Is finance accounting? But I can't do accounting, and I don't know how to manage a company. I used to only know how to dance. Link. Don't you think I'm useless? Liu Xiaoli knelt down, lowered her head, and looked embarrassed. Me too, I don't know anything about filmmaking. How about this? I need an assistant right now. You can work as an assistant for a while, get to know the company, and then you can take whichever position suits you best. I'll be in Los Angeles for a while, so you can take care of your daughter while you're an assistant. Okay, it's settled then. Link, thank you. Liu Xiaoli held her teacup, her bright, almond-shaped eyes sparkling as she looked at him. It seemed that with her job secured, she had finally let go of her worries, and her whole demeanor had suddenly become radiant. "Is this tea instead of wine? Then let's drink." Link clinked glasses with her, casually inquiring about her accommodation. If she were to work here, it would be best to rent an apartment nearby. Firstly, it would be more convenient for commuting, and secondly, the Beverly Hills and West Hollywood areas are safer than other parts of Los Angeles. Last month, due to the Rodney King incident, serious violence occurred in areas such as the intersection of Florence and Normandy Streets and Koreatown in south-central Los Angeles. Many shops were looted and burned, with over 600 fires breaking out. The incident resulted in 53 deaths, over 10,000 arrests, and approximately $1 billion in property damage. This is America, and one of the reasons Link was so eager to make money and move to Beverly Hills. Life would be safer in a wealthy neighborhood. "I came here today to check out the company first, and then I'll look for a place nearby. Do you want me to help you find one? I bought a house a couple of days ago and met a reliable real estate agent." "Really? Won't that be too much trouble for you?" Liu Xiaoli looked at him with bright eyes, her smile overflowing. "No trouble at all, just a phone call. Do you have enough money? If not, you can get an advance of 6 months' salary." "Yes, I have several $1,000s, enough for me and Zixi to live and eat in Los Angeles for a few months. If you don't have enough, you can get an advance of salary, or you can borrow from me. We Chinese don't have so many rules about borrowing money." "I understand." Liu Xiaoli lowered her head and sniffed, looking much more delicate. Link got up and called real estate agent Ellen Herbert, asking him to recommend a few nice properties, preferably move-in ready. "Sister Xiaoli, come to the company tomorrow, and the apartment rental will be finalized. After you rent the apartment, settle things for you and Zixi, and come to work when everything is ready." "Okay, I'll listen to you." Liu Xiaoli looked at his face and said gently. Link called Michael Leeson and introduced him to Liu Xiaoli. Liu Xiaoli's current job is as his assistant, and she will be responsible for the company's administrative work in the future. This kind of work requires the help of Michael Leeson, a professional manager. "Okay, boss." Michael took Liu Xiaoli out of the office and introduced her to the company's main business and future main work. A little while later, Michael Leeson returned to the office. "Boss, can I ask you a question?" "What question?" Link put down his pen. "What is your relationship with Ms. Liu? Are you relatives or lovers, friends? No special treatment is needed at work. Let her do the work that's hers, and she will be responsible for any mistakes." "Boss, I understand." Michael Leeson closed the door and left. Chapter 33 Teaching Monica. In the afternoon, Monica Bellucci arrived at Guess Film Studio. Standing at the entrance, a hint of confusion flashed in her eyes as she looked at the Guess sign, wondering why the company was called Guess. "Welcome." "Hello, who are you looking for?" Liu Xiaoli, who was idly working in the company, suddenly saw a woman walk in and quickly went over to greet her. But when she saw the woman's face and figure clearly, even she, a beautiful woman herself, couldn't help but be stunned. The woman had the delicate, three-dimensional features of a Western woman, a tall figure, and a mature, full-bodied body, like the voluptuous and graceful women in Italian Renaissance paintings. The woman wasn't wearing makeup, dressed in a simple women's t-shirt and blue jeans, her thick, curly long hair casually draped over her shoulders, carrying a small handbag. She was not only beautiful but also very fashionable and elegant. "Hello, is Director Link in? I'm Monica Bellucci. I made an appointment with him yesterday." "Hello, Ms. Monica, please follow me." Liu Xiaoli politely gestured and led Monica towards Link's office. Monica Bellucci walked slightly behind Liu Xiaoli, a step behind. As she followed, she glanced at the woman leading the way. This woman, like Link, had an Asian face, a tall and slender figure, and a beautiful face with a unique charm of Eastern women, refined and elegant, like exquisite Chinese porcelain, very pleasing to the eye. "Miss, are you Director Link's assistant?" "Yes, I'm temporarily his assistant. My surname is Liu." "Hello, Ms. Liu." "Ms. Bellucci, are you an actress?" "Yes, I aspire to be a real actress." "You can do it. You're beautiful." "Thank you, you're beautiful too." Liu Xiaoli reached Link's office and gently knocked on the door. "Come in, Link, Ms. Monica Bellucci is here." Liu Xiaoli led Monica into Link's office, then closed the door and left. But after closing it, she suddenly remembered that guests had arrived, and the assistant should be in charge of drinks. She hesitated at the door, knocked, and asked Link and Monica what they wanted. "No, thank you. There's a refrigerator here." Sister Xiali, there's not much work at the company this afternoon, you can go home early. Be careful on the way. Okay, I'll be going then. Liu Xiali waved and closed the office door. Inside the office, Link picked up a handheld camera, pressed the record button, and placed it on his desk. The camera lens was pointed at the center of the office. Monica, let's rehearse the lines. Link and Monica each took a copy of the script and began rehearsing their lines in the office. The story of Paranormal Activity is simple. A young couple, Katie and Mika, move into a large house in the suburbs, but after a few days, they discover that the house seems to be haunted. Every night, inexplicable noises would often echo in the house. To uncover the truth, the protagonist, Mika, bought several cameras and placed them in the bedroom, hoping to record evidence of ghostly presence. However, things gradually spiraled out of control. The female protagonist, Katie, was possessed by a ghost at night, frequently sleepwalking, and ultimately killed her husband Mika in her sleep. This film doesn't feature much gore or dismembered bodies. Its most terrifying elements are the strange sounds and the eerie images captured on camera. This mockumentary style maintains the authenticity of the footage, making it easy for viewers to immerse themselves and trigger inappropriate associations. This is what makes Paranormal Activity so frightening. Honey, what's wrong? During the audition, Link stood in the middle of the office, holding a small camera and pointing it at Monica Bellucci. In the script scene, the male protagonist, holding a handheld camera, came out of the house. The lens focused on his girlfriend Katie as she drove home. During their rehearsals, the two tried to simulate scenes from the plot, portraying the characters' actions and performing in a virtual setting without props. What's that? Monica Bellucci sat on the sofa, looking up at the camera. Hello, darling, that thing isn't. That's right, I don't know what you think, but whatever you think, it's good. I think it's a large camera. What about your old handheld one? Monica Bellucci asked. Stop, Link put down the camera. Monica, be relaxed while acting. Don't overdo it. Don't think of yourself as an actress, but as my girlfriend. We love each other, and our life is sweet. During the dialogue, don't show too much acting, try to be natural, like you're filming a Christmas or birthday party family video. Remember, we're making a documentary film, authenticity and naturalness are important, artistry is secondary. I understand, I'll try. Monica Bellucci nodded, picked up the script, looked at it, gathered her emotions for a moment, and continued practicing her lines with Link. Come on, give the camera a kiss. I don't want to kiss the camera, I want to kiss you. Monica tiptoed and kissed him. How much did you pay for this? What are you doing? Do you think this will work? Will it capture the ghosts in the house? I think we'll have a lot of fun. Monica Bellucci continued reciting her lines, a little more relaxed than before, but not much. There were still many areas for improvement. Link, holding the camera, filmed while acting as her husband, responding to her dialogue. After about an hour of practice, Link stopped the practice, letting Monica rest. He put down the small camera in his hand, turned on the VCR on his desk, and watched the previously recorded footage. This camera was the latest Canon LX1 handheld camcorder, with interchangeable lenses, and its clarity and image quality were comparable to professional cameras. The only inconvenience was the lack of data storage function like a digital camcorder, requiring frequent replacement of blank tapes. Link, how was it? While watching the recording, Monica walked up behind him, the scent of roses mixed with her warm body fragrance wafting towards him. There's a problem, Link stroked his chin, watching the video. While Monica Bellucci's performance had room for improvement, that wasn't the main issue. The main problem was that he and Monica Bellucci didn't look like a couple. One was Asian, the other Italian, and there was an 8-year age gap. They didn't seem like a good match. To solve this, he had to replace either him or Monica. After considering it, he decided to replace himself. This wasn't to promote Monica, but for the sake of the film's quality. If he continued as the male lead, finding a suitable actress would require a Chinese actress, and if both the male and female leads were Chinese, the film would become a Chinese film. In Barad, there was only one actor, a Chinese man mistaken for a Soviet spy, which wasn't a big problem. Continuing to use an Asian face in Shudder would likely affect box office performance in Europe and America. Furthermore, Shudder is a found footage film. To make the audience believe it's a documentary, it's best to use actors unfamiliar to the audience, or non-professional actors. Monica Bellucci had only been in Hollywood for 6 months, playing a minor role as a vampire bride in Bram Stoker's Dracula. If it weren't for her later fame with Malina, almost no one would know she had such a small role. She was practically a non-professional actress at the time. Meanwhile, Link, as the male lead in Barad, had his face filmed continuously for over 90 minutes, leaving a deep impression on audiences, and many knew him as an actor. Using his familiar face in a mockumentary would compromise the documentary's authenticity and make it harder to fool the audience. Is it my fault? I can correct it, Monica Bellucci asked nervously. Watching the video, Monica grew increasingly disappointed in herself. She considered herself a professional actress with extensive experience, capable of handling any role. Yet, her performance was far inferior to Link's. Link acted very naturally in front of the camera, his tone of voice and movements were relaxed, just like in everyday life. Her speech and movements, however, still showed signs of acting and lacked relaxation. The difference was obvious. Hearing Link's response, "There's a problem," her heart pounded with nervousness, worried that Link would replace her. "It's not your fault, Monica. Don't be nervous, you did a good job." Link felt something warm and soft pressing against the back of his left shoulder, seemingly thumping, and the fragrance in his nostrils intensified. "So what's the problem?" "There's a problem with our chemistry." Link briefly explained that the two didn't mesh well, and that his familiar face wasn't suitable for this kind of mockumentary. "Should we replace the male actor?" "Not for now." Link planned to play the male lead first, filming a test scene with Monica. After filming, he'd see how much rating, experience, and box office subsidy the system would give. If the subsidy was too low, he'd replace him with another male actor. The film's budget was only $20,000, with a shooting period of about a week, allowing for 3 or 4 takes a month. It was perfect for practice, missing out would be a shame. Link told Monica about his plan to film 2 more takes. It would be more tedious, but it would guarantee the film's quality. The only inconvenience was that Monica might need to repeat her performance. "I don't mind. I'm a new actress, and repeated filming will give me more experience." Monica Bellucci is a very ambitious actress. Hearing that she would have to perform multiple scenes, she didn't find it tedious at all. On the contrary, she thought it was a great opportunity. Link is not only a very talented screenwriter and a genius director, but also a superb actor. The opportunity to work under his guidance and receive his instruction is not to be missed. "As long as you don't find it troublesome, I'll give you extra pay if the filming isn't successful." "Link, I can do without pay. I just want a chance to act." "No need for that. Although the budget for this film is not high, the actors' salaries cannot be low. You have 2 options. One is $10,000 for the entire film, including repeated scenes. The other is $1,000 per day. You can consider it before making a choice." "I choose the $10,000. Monica Bellucci made her choice quickly. Pleasant to work together, Link picked up the phone on the table and asked Daniel DeVito to print out an actor employment contract for Monica to sign. This also marked the signing of the first actor in the Ghost cast. Please read on, vote, and support. Chapter 34 Sign a contract. Link, are you free this afternoon? What's up? I know a great restaurant nearby. How about we go check it out? Let's go. It's lunchtime. My treat. Link took Monica Bellucci away from the company and drove to Bouchon, the French restaurant Monica recommended. Bouchon is located on Santa Monica Boulevard and belongs to the Thomas Keller Restaurant Group. Because it's not far from Beverly Hills and the chef is a Michelin-starred chef, the prices are relatively high. Link didn't know much about French cuisine, so he only ordered the chef's recommendations, a bottle of 1988 Bordeaux red wine, French-style steak, truffle soup, and a French sandwich. Monica, who was trying to lose weight for her role as the female lead, only ordered a vegetable salad and a sandwich. Link, can I ask you a question? What? Link put down his fork and dabbed his lips with a napkin. How could someone like you end up in a youth hostel? Monica Bellucci blinked her long, curved eyelashes, her brown eyes sparkling beautifully under the restaurant lights, her rosy lips, with their subtle pink blush, more enticing than the food on the table. Isn't it more appropriate for a poor person like me, with dreams of stardom, to live in a youth hostel? No, I don't think so. Although I've only met you a few times, I can tell you're very different from the other people in the youth hostel. They're lazy, dreaming of stardom but knowing nothing about striving. You, on the other hand, have goals and aspirations, constantly striving every day, never hanging out with them. Do you know what impressed me most about you after meeting you? Monica held her wine glass between her fingers, her eyes quietly fixed on him. "My handsome face," Link joked, resting his chin on his hand. Monica chuckled in agreement. "Link, what I'm about to say might be a bit impolite, but I still want to say that in my eyes, a man's handsome appearance alone is nothing. Compared to looks, I admire a man's character, inner qualities, and reputation even more. Before you became a famous director, what impressed me most about you was your eyes, so bright, like flames, giving off a positive, optimistic, ambitious, and fighting spirit. A man like you either goes mad or achieves success, and you achieved success sooner than I expected. Your insight is very sharp. When I lived in the youth hostel, I tried my best to conceal my sharpness and interact with everyone as an ordinary person, but I didn't expect you to see through me. Okay, I won't pretend anymore. I really am a man from Mars, with fire in my eyes. TCH, are you serious?" Monica bit her lower lip, forcing a laugh as she asked. "You can take this as a lame joke. You're really funny, much more interesting than when you're working. I thought women appreciated men who are serious about their work more. You are indeed very charming when you're explaining the script and directing the scene, but with that cold face and the vertical wrinkle here, you look very aloof. At that time, I was only thinking about how to please you, and I didn't have time to appreciate you at all." Monica pointed to her brow and casually combed her cascading long hair back. "It's my fault, but I won't change it. Taking work seriously and being strict with actors is my attitude when filming, so you need to be mentally prepared before filming officially starts. Don't back down because I'm too strict. Thank you for the reminder. I can feel a lot of pressure from your words." Monica Bellucci rested her chin on her hand and smiled. "That's why I said someone like you shouldn't be in a youth hostel. You have a maturity and composure beyond your years, extraordinary insight and talent, a humorous way of speaking, good social etiquette, and your skillful work ethic is nothing like that of a novice director. The more I get to know you, the more I realize you're a very capable guy. If you claim to be from a noble family in China instead of a coming from Mars, I would definitely believe you." Link smiled slightly and raised his wine glass to clink with Monica's. He didn't care too much whether Monica's words were genuine praise or flattery. When dealing with women, the most important thing is to be clear-headed, to know what they want, to know what you have, to know what they still want, and what you still have, so that you can firmly grasp the initiative. After lunch, Link and Monica left Bouchin Restaurant and strolled along Santa Monica Boulevard, chatting in the afterglow of the Los Angeles sun. This wasn't a waste of time, but rather a way to deepen their understanding of each other, build a harmonious working relationship, and prepare for the upcoming filming. They would be playing a married couple, and a harmonious and intimate relationship would make it easier to get into character during filming. In the morning, while working out at the gym, they bumped into Jim Carrey again, and the two worked out together and played a game of tennis. During breakfast, Link received a call from Mason Sr. Turner Network's movie channel wanted to invite him for an interview to discuss the film Barrett. Turner Network didn't have his contact information, so they called the United Theater. "Okay, William, I'll have someone contact Turner TV later." "Link, don't you have an agent? You're a star director now, you need a full-time agent." "You almost forgot. I should have called my agency back today." Arriving at Guessing Movies, Link called Sam Haskell to thank him for his sincere invitation. WMA was a promising agency, and he was willing to work with them. Sam Haskell expressed his pleasure at receiving his call and asked when he would be available to sign the agency agreement. WMA would then handle all his affairs. Sam Haskell also expressed his delight at becoming his agent. Link gave him the address of Guessing Movies and arranged to meet in the afternoon. Around 9 p.m., Liu Xiaoli arrived at Guessing Movies, bringing him a yam and chicken soup, saying he was busy and needed nourishment. While drinking the soup, Link called real estate agent Ellen Herbert to inquire if he had found a suitable property. After receiving a positive reply, Link drove Liu Xiaoli around to several apartments in the vicinity, accompanied by Ellen Herbert. They eventually rented a mid-range apartment for Liu Xiaoli in the Rex Apartments, about 3 kilometers from the company. It had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a living room, fully furnished and equipped with appliances. The neighborhood was safe, with a private kindergarten and Archer Girls' School nearby, so Liu Xiaoli could attend school nearby when she grew up. Because the rent was expensive, Link paid 2 years' rent for her under the guise of an advance on his salary. "Alright, Xiaoli, the apartment is booked. For the next few days, familiarize yourself with the area and buy necessities. If you need a car, just call me or Chris Bauer. Don't hesitate to ask." Don't worry about company matters for now. I'll arrange things for you once you're done, okay?" Liu Xiaoli looked at the beautifully decorated apartment, a satisfied look in her eyes. She turned to him and smiled. "Link, I owe you more and more. It seems like I can't pay it all back. The road ahead is long. No rush, take it slow." Back at Guessing Movies, Link called Turner TV to discuss the interview with host Billy Crystal. He needed to prepare beforehand. Just as he hung up, Sam Haskell knocked and entered, dressed in a formal suit and tie, carrying a briefcase. His hair was meticulously combed, and beneath his thick, neat eyebrows, his dark brown eyes smiled even before he spoke when he saw Link. "Haha, Link, you finally called. I haven't slept well for 2 days waiting for your call. After signing the contract, you can go home and get some sleep." Link took the agency agreement from WMA and looked it over. Most of the content was a template for agency agreements, with only a few clauses modified. The contract stipulated that they would not interfere with his personal projects, would not take a cut of his project fees, and the penalty for breach of contract was only a symbolic $50,000. It was a trust-based cooperation method with relatively loose binding force on both parties. After both lawyers arrived, Link and the representative of WMA William Morris Agency signed the agency agreement, and Link officially became a client of WMA Agency. The reason for choosing WMA Agency, rather than the most powerful CAA, was that among the 4 major agencies, WMA had more directors among its clients, including James Cameron, Clint Eastwood, and David Lynch. Joining WMA would also facilitate internal communication and allow him to learn from the experience of these veteran directors. Over the past few days, CAA had also contacted him. Although their offers weren't as sincere as WMA's, they were still quite good overall. His reason for not choosing CAA was that CAA had expanded too rapidly in the past few years. Its clientele included almost half of Hollywood's A-list and B-list stars, including Steven Spielberg, Sylvester Stallone, Oprah Winfrey, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Robert Downey Jr., Nicolas Cage, and Julia Roberts. CAA's founder and president, Michael Ovitz, had also been named one of Hollywood's most powerful people by Premiere magazine for 3 consecutive years. With so many big-name clients, internal strife was rampant, and as a newcomer, he wouldn't get many resources. Secondly, he remembered that a couple of years ago, CAA's 2 founders, Michael Ovitz and Ron Mayer, successively jumped ship to Walt Disney and Universal Pictures, causing serious chaos and numerous scandals within CAA. Many celebrity clients also left CAA at that time, moving to WMA, ICM International Innovation Management, UTA United Elite Agency, and others. Knowing in advance that CAA was doomed, he saw no need to join the fray. Joining the more stable WMA was a better fit. Haha, Link, welcome to WMA. I hope our collaboration goes smoothly and becomes increasingly successful. That's exactly what I want to see. The two shook hands in the conference room. Sam Haskell's entourage took photos of them. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Overseas Box Office. In its 5th week of release in North America, Barrett grossed $935,000 in 187 theaters, bringing its total box office to $12.71 million. The previous week, Barrett, distributed by 20th Century Fox, was released in 21 countries and regions overseas, grossing $18.37 million, with opening weekend box office exceeding $2 million in Japan, South Korea, the UK, Spain, and Taiwan. The news caused a sensation in the U.S. media and entertainment industry. Barrett had a production cost of only $20,000 and hadn't won any awards at international film festivals before its release, yet its opening weekend box office in overseas regions was nearly $20 million, a return of over 900 times. This data is too outrageous, it must be fake, Quentin Tarantino said, gritted his teeth with envy, his facial muscles contorted, looking at the data in the Los Angeles Times. It couldn't possibly be fake. This data was provided by 20th Century Fox's overseas distribution department. If a higher box office figure were inflated, it would mean Fox would have to give Link a larger share of the box office revenue. 20th Century Fox wouldn't be foolish enough to do something so pointless. $18 million in opening weekend, overseas total projected to exceed $40 million, worldwide total projected to exceed $60 million. Damn, how could I not have noticed Barrett? What a pity. Miramax Films president Harvey Weinstein stared at the scorching figures in the newspaper, a wave of intense regret washing over him. His drooping eye bags and the fat at the corners of his mouth trembled slightly. During the Sundance Film Festival, he had personally led a team to Park City to scout for promising new films. After seeing Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs, he was overjoyed, thinking he'd struck gold, and paid little attention to other films. During this time, he had bumped into Link, who introduced himself and hoped he would come to see Barrett. Harvey Weinstein only glanced at him, seeing his young Asian face, and didn't think he could make any good films, so he ignored Link. Later, Miramax Films also received a videotape of Barrett from Link. He'd heard rumors that Barrett had been rejected by all his peers and had no interest in watching a bad movie, but no one expected that after its release, Barrett would perform so spectacularly at the box office, and the success only grew. A $20,000 investment yielded thousands of times the return. If they had been more patient at the Sundance Film Festival and hadn't looked down on Link because of his youth and Asian heritage, this film would have belonged to Miramax Films, earning them at least $20 million. Harvey Weinstein pounded his chest. After the opening weekend box office figures for Barrett in overseas markets were released, Harvey wasn't the only one kicking himself. Many film company executives, after seeing the newspaper figures, were filled with regret and remorse. New Line Cinema, the first studio Link approached, was among them. It said that Robert Shea, the usually mild-mannered, refined, and rational CEO, smashed his most beloved glass sculpture in his office after seeing the overseas box office success of Barrett. There are also rumors that it was an accidental breakage, not because he missed Barrett. This kind of rubbish movie can gross tens of millions of dollars? Are those viewers blind? Why would they watch that garbage when there are good movies like Chaplin? Why? In his Beverly Hills mansion, Robert Downey Jr., in a fit of rage, smashed half a bottle of limited edition royal whiskey against the wall. Bang! The glass shattered, golden liquor and shards flying everywhere. His agent, Mick Jimmy Ritchie, shook his head and sighed. It's no wonder Robert Downey Jr. was angry, he was also very annoyed. Even if Barrett, a low-budget, niche film, was of decent quality and profound in its themes, it was still a rather rough B-movie, especially with a Chinese lead actor. Yet, this kind of film had grossed over $30 million worldwide, with an estimated total box office of over $60 million. The meticulously crafted and artistically superior Chaplin only grossed $8.13 million in North America and a mere $3.22 million in its 3-week overseas run, completely crushed by Barrett. If Barrett were a commercial film or a highly artistic masterpiece, Chaplin losing to such a film would be understandable, but losing to a B-movie with a production cost of only $20,000 is infuriating. What's even more infuriating is that Chaplin and Barrett were released at the same time. At the beginning of their releases, comparing Chaplin to Barrett, or Robert Downey Jr. to Link, was like comparing a Prince Charming to a beggar and a vagrant. It was obvious which was better. But no one expected the fates of the two films to change. After expanding its release, Barrett's box office numbers surged, rising from last place to 8th, then surpassing Chaplin to 5th, 4th, and even reaching 2nd. If it hadn't been for the classic erotic film Basic Instinct during this off-season, it could have easily secured a top spot at the box office. The success of Barrett was entirely built on the backs of Chaplin. Media reports invariably compared the two films released around the same time. Chaplin had a production budget of $15 million and a marketing budget of over $2 million. It was directed by Oscar-winning director Richard Attenborough and starred Hollywood's top star, Robert Downey Jr. The supporting cast was equally impressive, including Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins, A-list actress Diane Lane, veteran actress Moira Kelly, and Hollywood's flower vase actress Mila Jovovich. At its release, it received endorsements from dozens of celebrities and was covered by hundreds of media outlets. Barrett, on the other hand, had a production budget of only $20,000, and its marketing budget reportedly consisted of $50,000 raised by Link from selling the script. It was directed by a relatively unknown director, Link, and starred Link, who started as an extra. There were no supporting actors. At its release, It couldn't afford a red carpet and practically begged its way onto Chaplin's red carpet. Yet, this film grossed 5 or 6 times more than Chaplin after its release. This comparison generated immense buzz. Unscrupulous media outlets seized the opportunity to ridicule Robert Downey Jr. and Chaplin. The more successful Barrett became, the more Chaplin seemed like a failure. Barrett's box office success would go down in history, and Chaplin would be used as a stepping stone. Robert Downey Jr., a Hollywood star who should have soared to new heights with Chaplin, even having a chance to win an Oscar for Best Actor, was instead brutally trampled underfoot by Link, a newcomer from the slums, a Chinese American. When a Prince Charming is trampled underfoot by a beggar, it's a tragedy more pitiful than Hamlet. Faced with such a ridiculous situation, Robert Downey Jr. only smashed a bottle. His temper was already remarkably good and restrained. Robert, don't be angry. Hollywood has produced countless directors hailed as geniuses over its 100-year history, who reached the pinnacle of their careers right from their debut, achieving both fame and fortune. They were incredibly dazzling. But for these people, their most glorious moment in Hollywood was also their debut. After that, they would slowly decline, becoming just like ordinary people within 2 or 3 years. Link is one of those people. But you are different. You come from an acting family, started acting at the age of 5, and have acted in over 20 films in the past 20 years, taking each step steadily and solidly. You are not one of those born geniuses, but rather someone who gradually becomes a genius through hard work. In the future, you will become stronger and stronger, your genius aura will shine brighter and brighter. While Link cannot replicate the success of Barrett, he will become weaker and weaker, more and more ordinary, rolling back from Beverly Hills to the slums. There's absolutely no need for you to be angry with someone like Link. It's not worth ruining your health, said agent Jimmy Ritchie. Robert Downey Jr. sat on the sofa, closed his eyes for a few seconds, then slowly opened them. Jimmy, you're right. Link got lucky and can only succeed once, while I'm a growth genius who can succeed countless times. People like that don't deserve to make me angry. Haha, Robert, it's great that you think that way. Your mentality is better and stronger than anyone else's, so you'll go further than those people. Jimmy Ricky clapped his hands, as if coaxing a child. Chapter 36 Link's Charm. Following the release of the overseas box office figures for Barrett, many American media outlets enthusiastically reported the news. The Los Angeles Times reported that the quality of Barrett was steadily increasing, noting that in the past period, many negative news reports have appeared about Barrett, including accusations of Link's red carpet appearances, his lack of cultural refinement, the film's success relying on hype, and potential box office manipulation. Within the film critic community, there was also some debate about whether Barrett was a good or bad movie. Some reviews praised it as a good film due to its novel and daring subject matter and profound themes. However, many more critics considered it a bad film, citing its poor production quality, flawed plot, simplistic storyline, and somewhat forced performance by Link. The larger the release of Barrett, the higher its box office performance, and negative reviews gradually gained dominance. However, with the release of Barrett's overseas box office results, many of the negative reviews in the media were disproven. For example, if Barrett is a bad film, why did it sell so well overseas? Our overseas audience is just as unappealing as North American audiences? If a bad film is accepted by moviegoers worldwide, is it still a bad film? This is debatable. For example, some news reports claim that Barrett's success was due to hype. During its release, numerous media outlets constantly compared Barrett to the highly popular Chaplin, generating significant attention for Barrett. Barrett's low budget and high box office, its extremely high return on investment, are also topics frequently used by the media for hype. There is indeed suspicion of hype surrounding Barrett during its release. But can a film truly succeed solely through hype? The answer is no. When Barrett was released overseas, the distributor simply conducted normal promotion without any hype. Under these circumstances, Barrett still achieved great success, which is enough to demonstrate that the film is indeed good and has received support from most people. Those critics who think the film is bad may simply not appreciate this trendy genre. Their criticisms of Barrett can be reserved for later consideration. The above is a commentary from the Los Angeles Times. Besides the Los Angeles Times, major media outlets such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, the American Tribune, and USA Today all reported on the release and box office figures of Barrett, offering their own perspectives on the film and its director and lead actor. While some media outlets still acknowledge certain flaws in Barrett, its tens of millions of dollars in box office revenue undeniably demonstrates its popularity with audiences and the market, making it a worthwhile new type of film. In addition to the media, Hollywood stars such as Bruce Willis, Jim Carrey, and Jennifer Connelly have publicly expressed their liking for the film. Influenced by the media and star-studded promotion, viewers who were initially hesitant to see Barrett flocked to theaters, leading to a rare rebound in Barrett's North American box office this week. In just 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the film grossed over $1 million, and media outlets predict that Barrett's sixth-week box office could potentially return to the $3 million mark. If this data comes true, Barrett will gross $20 million in North America. And its North American box office return will be a staggering 1,000 times, an unprecedented 1,000 times. That's incredible. Barrett has a 1,000-fold North American box office return and a 3,000 to 4,000-fold global box office return. Based on this, are you confident you can surpass Link within 3 to 5 years? By the pool, Matt Damon pointed to the data in the newspaper, his face showing amazement, admiration, and deep envy. What, 3,000 or 4,000 times? Don't think of Barrett as something amazing. The advertised budget for Barrett was only $20,000, but do you think that's possible? If you include Link's salary as director and lead actor, voice actors, and crew members, the budget definitely exceeded $20,000. Besides, the distributor invested millions of dollars in promotion after the film's release. That's also a cost. So, Barrett's box office return is only a few dozen times. A few dozen times isn't a big deal. If I want to catch up, I definitely can. Ben Affleck stood on the diving board by the pool, did a few chest-expanding exercises, clasped his hands together, and jumped into the water with a splash bigger than a cow. Matt Damon shook his head and continued reading the newspaper article about Barrett. Back in Los Angeles, he had wanted to find Link to talk about the movie, but the people at the burger joint said that Link had become successful and moved to Beverly Hills, making it difficult to see him now. Matt Damon was also disappointed. Before Link became successful, if he saw him on the street and didn't want to chat, Link would initiate the conversation. Now, even seeing Link is difficult. Ben, I'm thinking of going to the Screen Actors Guild. If I'm lucky, I might find a suitable role or two. Do you want to come, Matt? Are you serious? It's the weekend today, the only weekend we get once a week. Shouldn't we be enjoying our precious weekends at home? The guy at the burger joint said that Link has been working non-stop for the past 6 months to earn money for this movie, going to film sets day and night, let alone weekends. Link is so talented and hard-working. If we don't work harder, in 2 years, we won't even be able to see the back of his head, let alone catch up with him. Damn. That really hurts. Ben Affleck angrily slapped the water's surface, and seeing Matt Damon getting dressed, he also grumbled as he walked ashore. When reporting the latest box office figures for Barrett, the media also mentioned Link's box office revenue-sharing agreement with United Theaters and 20th Century Fox. According to current data, Barrett has grossed $40 million overseas, giving Link the opportunity to earn over $4 million in profit sharing. With Barrett grossing over $20 million in North America, Link's share will reach $6 to $7 million. In other words, Link's $20,000 investment in the film will yield over $10 million in net income, making him a multimillionaire at the young age of 20. The Hollywood Reporter states that while Link isn't the first struggling actor to become a multimillionaire through film box office earnings, he is the closest to everyone, a vivid example of success worthy of emulation by all filmmakers still struggling at the bottom of Hollywood. An idol. In her apartment, Monica Bellucci stared at Link's photo in a magazine, her long eyelashes fluttering. She recalled their first meeting. Link had rushed upstairs, his shoulder bumping into her chest. At the time, she thought it was intentional, or at least rude. When Link apologized, he immediately mentioned her name, clearly having done his research beforehand. When they parted, Link warned her that the area was unsafe and it was best not to go out at night, almost like he was trying to curry favor. He left hurriedly afterward, behaving like a lovesick young boy. After that first meeting, her impression of Link was negative. The second time they met, Link leaned against the small window of the management office, begging the manager to open the door for the night, saying he'd borrow money to pay the rent the next day, appearing extremely destitute. Later, Link introduced himself as a director, preparing to make a movie, and offering her a role, more like a fabricated identity to impress a beautiful woman. It seemed childish and ridiculous. After that second meeting, her impression of Link was negative 20 points. He was a stranger she needed to be wary of. But now, looking back, it seems like things weren't like that at all. Link's hurried upstairs might have been because he was busy with the movie's release, leaving early and returning late. Even his walking pace unconsciously quickened. Seeing her, a woman, going out alone at night, his words of advice were out of kindness. The day he asked Lucy to open the door was the day before the premiere of Barrett. He must have been very busy those days. Forgetting to pay the rent was due to being too busy, not intentional. When Link mentioned the role in his new movie, it was a genuine invitation, not some hastily made-up excuse to please a beautiful woman. Later, through several interactions with Link, she increasingly realized he was a wonderful man, gentle, refined, humorous, patient, and meticulous, with excellent personal qualities. Despite his poverty, he remained positive, optimistic, open-minded, and kind, full of ambition and drive, possessing a strong and courageous heart. His professionalism and serious attitude at work exuded mature masculine charm. Monica secretly felt ashamed of her past misunderstandings of him and happy to have met him and gained his approval. There are many talented and wealthy men in the world, but young, handsome, and of good character are rare, and Link was the only man she could currently meet. Link was not just a man, but also an opportunity. Monica gazed at the bustling Los Angeles skyline outside her window, picked up the phone in her apartment, and dialed Link to congratulate him on the film's success. 2 chapters released today. Please continue reading. Chapter 37 Learning from Sylvester Stallone. Boss, another call. You've been getting so many calls these past few days. A lot of calls are good. In the entertainment industry, it's terrifying when nobody calls. In the break room at TNT headquarters in Burbank, Link took his phone from his assistant, Lee Uzieli, and chatted briefly with Robert Shea, who was calling. Robert Shea wanted to mend their relationship and strengthen their collaboration. New Line Cinema was a very powerful film company. After being acquired by Warner Brothers next year, its strength would rise even further, becoming one of the few independent film companies comparable to Miramax. The opportunity to collaborate with New Line on a film was a good choice. As his agent, Sam Haskell, said, Hollywood is a place of fame and fortune, but also an arena. Before you have the strength to dominate, teamwork yields greater rewards. Sit down, don't stand. Standing is tiring. Link hung up the phone and handed it to Lee Uzieli. Modern phones are quite large, they're too heavy to carry in a pocket, and too unfashionable to wear on your waist. Having his assistant keep it was the most suitable. Boss, would you consider yourself a big star now? Would you be considered A-list or top tier in the American entertainment industry? Lee Uzieli sat with her knees on the fabric sofa opposite him. Her white briefcase lay flat on her smooth knees, her legs crossed, exuding the elegance of a dancer. Combined with her delicate and gentle face, even in Hollywood, where beauties abound, her appearance would be top tier. Call me Link, and I'll answer your question. No. It's work time now, so it's more appropriate for me to call you boss. How about I call you Link after get off work? Why make such a simple relationship so complicated? I'm your assistant. If I call you Link at work, others will think I lack professionalism. In public, call me boss. In private, when it's just the two of us, call me Link. Okay, little Link, Lee Uzieli chuckled, amused by her own words. She lowered her head, tucked a strand of black hair behind her ear, and blinked, smiling. Will you be angry if I call you that? No, I just think Confucius's words make sense. Which one? Only petty men and women are difficult to deal with. Before he could finish the last sentence, Lee Uzieli's smile vanished, and she glared at him fiercely. But she had beautiful, almond-shaped eyes, moist and affectionate. When she rolled her eyes, her gaze was a mixture of anger and resentment. This kind of look not only failed to intimidate mature men, but also easily made them waver and unable to resist further offense. Mr. Link, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Please come with me, a staff member from the TNT studio reminded him. Let's go. Link buttoned his suit jacket and, with Lee Uzieli, followed the staff to TNT Studio 3 to record an interview about himself and the movie Barrett. This interview was one of many television interviews he had participated in after the huge success of Barrett, so it shouldn't be a problem. Director Link, welcome to TNT. You're much more handsome in person than in the movie, host Billy Crystal greeted him. Thank you. Your compliment, while not very creative, is genuine. Haha, hearing you say that makes me look forward to the interview. How about we start recording in 3 minutes? No problem. Link shook hands with Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal, 45 years old, is a famous American television host, actor, screenwriter, and producer. He has hosted comedy shows like Soap and Saturday Night Live, and played significant supporting roles in well-known films such as When Harry Met Sally, The Princess Bride, and Midnight Run. He has also hosted 2 Grammy Awards ceremonies. While not as famous as Winfrey Oprah, David Letterman, or Larry King, he is still a top-tier host. His show, similar to Talking Movies, maintains tens of millions of viewers in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon, it's time for another episode of Billy's Movie Review. This week, we've specially invited the director and lead actor of this month's most talked-about film, the one with the most astonishing box office results, and also the highest-grossing film in history, Buried, director Link. Clap clap clap. After Billy Crystal's introduction, a burst of enthusiastic applause erupted from the audience. Link walked from backstage to the front, waving to the audience. There were about 400 or 500 people in the audience, many of whom were of Asian descent. Liu Xiaoli, sitting near the aisle, waved her fist at him and whispered encouragement, looking even more nervous than he was. Director Link, please sit down. Thank you. Link sat down on the sofa. Director Link, the latest news is that Buried has grossed $18.37 million in its first week of release in 21 countries and regions overseas. This helps Buried surpass the $30 million mark globally. It also gives Buried a return on investment of 1,500 times, making it the highest-grossing film in world film history. This is truly remarkable, and it's likely no one will ever break that record. Congratulations, thank you. Thank you all for your support. Link turned to thank the applauding audience. Link, as a director who is only 20 years old, achieving such amazing success at this age, what are your feelings that you can share with everyone here? Billy Crystal asked. Buried is an experimental independent film with a relatively niche subject matter and style, making it somewhat difficult to watch and not suitable for all ages. I didn't expect that such a niche film would not only be a huge hit in North America, but also receive support from audiences worldwide. So, hearing that Buried was a big success overseas was a pleasant surprise. Director Link, you said you didn't expect Buried to be such a big hit before its release. At the beginning of its release, how much did you predict it would gross globally? I didn't expect the film to be released overseas. Initially, I thought that if Buried grossed over $100,000 in North America, it would prove the film was good and that I had some potential as a director. Later, Buried surpassed $1 million, $10 million in North America, and over $30 million worldwide. These figures are unimaginable to me. I can only say that the power of film fans is truly great, Link said sincerely. The prediction was $100,000, but the global box office exceeded $30 million, which was indeed beyond expectations. I heard that at the beginning of its release, no film company was willing to distribute Buried, so you sold the script and self-financed its release. When you were self-financing the film, were you worried that Buried would do poorly after its release and that all the investment would be lost? No. Never, no? We know from the news that you are not financially well off. The $20,000 for making the film was earned by working at burger and pizza shops and playing minor roles on film sets. The self-financing funds came from selling the script. This is a lot of money for you. Weren't you worried about losing it? Yes. First of all, you have to know that I am 20 years old this year. I earned $70,000 in a short period of time by doing odd jobs and selling scripts. Even if I lost it, I was confident that I could earn more. Secondly, Buried is my debut film. Before I started making this film, I was mentally prepared for the possibility of losing money. Worry is a negative emotion caused by excessive focus on something, and I didn't have much of that. Clap clap clap. Billy Crystal led the applause, which was followed by applause from the audience. I've heard that talented people are often willful and don't care about money. You must be one of those people, Billy Crystal chuckled. I'm trying to become that kind of person, Link said modestly. Clap clap clap. Many audience members applauded. Liu Xiaoli clapped along, her eyes fixed on Link on stage, feeling how much he had changed. 6 years ago, when she saw him, he was a thin, introverted young man. He would blush when he spoke. He liked to secretly stare at her buttocks and chest, both lecherous and timid. In 6 years, he had undergone a complete transformation. He was taller and more handsome, mature and composed. Talking to him felt like talking to a peer. He was occasionally a little mischievous, but not unpleasant. He had also become successful, a famous American director, a millionaire. For a Chinese American to achieve such success in a foreign land was remarkable. It showed he was very talented and a very capable man. He also became considerate and attentive to people, very caring. Being with him felt like being with a reliable and trustworthy family member. Liu Xiaoli didn't know if he was only like this to her, or to all his friends, but it felt good. Liu Xiaoli shook her head, shaking off the jumbled thoughts in her mind, and refocused her attention on Link, who was speaking eloquently on stage. The reason I was so determined to release Barrett is, of course, because I refuse to give up easily. Many people have an idol during their formative years, and mine is Sylvester Stallone. What I admire about him isn't his muscles or cool fight scenes, but his persistence and unwavering determination. I read an article about him in a magazine where he recounted how, after finishing the script for Rocky, he relentlessly sought investment from film companies. He was rejected 1,489 times before finally securing funding. It's said that the production company had to sell their property to raise the necessary funds. Fortunately, their efforts paid off. Rocky, released on a budget of $1.1 million, grossed $225 million worldwide. This was $225 million in 1976, a remarkable achievement. When I was searching for a film company to distribute Barrett, I set myself a goal. I wouldn't give up unless Barrett was rejected by every film company. After being rejected more than 30 times, I heard that I could self-finance a film. At the time, I thought, distributing a film is so simple, why not do it? So I sold the script, raised the money to self-publish Barrett, and I succeeded. Link shrugged. A round of enthusiastic applause erupted from the audience. Sylvester Stallone is amazing, and you are just as amazing. Your success, like Stallone's, will inspire countless people to move forward. Billy Crystal lowered his hands and said, Link, next let's talk about how you got into directing. We know from the news that before becoming a director, you worked at the Better Booch Juice factory in Los Angeles and worked as an extra on film sets for several months. And you didn't receive any directing education or training. So what opportunities or motivations led you to make this transition, from worker and extra to director? Can you talk about it? Link took a sip of water, looked at the audience, and smiled. The answer to this question will be rather boring, so be prepared. Ha ha ha. The audience laughed in unison. Liu Xiaoli smiled and listened quietly as he spoke. Over the past year, I've worked as an extra in more than 30 film and television productions. Besides earning money, it's also a hobby. Before, when watching movies, I always thought actors were amazing, capable of anything. After working as an extra for a while, I realized the coolest person in a movie is the director. The director is the head of the crew, using clever filming techniques and camera language to make ordinary actors look cool. I thought, since directors are cooler, why not try becoming a director? After having this idea, I bought a lot of books on directing at the bookstore, studied related knowledge, and watched many classic films. At the same time, while working as an extra, I would try to get close to the director's area, learning how to film, how to control the set, and how to guide actors. I have a good talent for guiding actors. Many of my fellow extras enjoyed listening to my direction during filming. Actors who received my guidance often performed exceptionally well and easily gained the director's approval. This gave me a lot of encouragement and courage. After studying for 3 or 4 months, I felt I was almost there, so I did it, and I succeeded. You can learn to make movies by just observing on set for 3 or 4 months? Is making movies that simple? Billy Crystal asked incredulously. For something unfamiliar, it feels difficult before you start doing it, and even more difficult after you start. As long as you persevere and overcome the difficulties little by little, you'll find that the difficulties gradually disappear, paving the way for your success. So, whether being a director is difficult or not doesn't depend on the job itself, but on your attitude, courage, and how much you're willing to sacrifice for this career. Link pointed at Billy Crystal. Too difficult. Link, although it sounds simple to you, being a good director is too difficult. I've tried. I used to dream of making cool movies like Pitch Black, Alien, and Days of Thunder, but when I picked up a handheld camera, I couldn't even film a proper family gathering, let alone direct one. Billy Crystal frowned and shook his head, giving off a "you can't fool me" look, which caused a burst of laughter from the audience. Shooting a movie with a handheld camera is easy. I'll make one for you next time. Are you serious? You can look forward to it. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Link. From wanting to be a director, to becoming a director, to becoming a famous director, your journey has been smoother than many directors. Here's the key point. What factors do you think played a crucial role in this process? Talent, hard work, or luck? Billy Crystal asked. All of them. None of them are dispensable. Relatively speaking, I have good talent. I learn everything quickly. Acting, cinematography, screenwriting, directing, art direction, etc. Now I can handle 90% of the roles on a film set. 90% of the roles? So the rumor is that you are the only person on the entire Barrett crew? Is that true? Of course not. There was another partner who helped manage props and logistics, so only 2 people. Yes, clap clap clap. Applause rang out. Incredible. Only someone like you could make a film like Barrett. Any other director could never capture that feeling of loneliness and despair, and that pervasive suspense, because their crews have too many people, which would easily ruin the atmosphere. I don't know, but during filming, I spent most of my time lying in the coffin every day. After a while, I definitely felt like I was suffocating, Link said, clutching his throat. Ha ha ha. The audience roared with laughter. Link, after deciding to become a director, why did you choose to film Barrett? Was it because the script was easier to film and required less investment? No. After preparing to try directing, I wrote 5 scripts, including Barrett, and submitted them to various film studios. If a studio took a liking to a script, I could then propose directing. Even if I wasn't allowed, I could join the crew as a screenwriter, learn more, and earn an adaptation fee. Unfortunately, after submitting several scripts, there was no feedback whatsoever. I had no choice but to save up money to film the lowest budget Barrett. This wasn't pre-planned, it was simply making the most suitable choice. So you still have 4 scripts in the warehouses of several major film studios. Yes, your Barrett was a box office hit, and another script sold for $50,000. Those 4 scripts must be very good. Hey, producers at all the major film studios, did you hear that? There are 4 fantastic scripts lying in your warehouses. I suggest you take a look. Don't miss out on other good movies after missing Barrett, Billy Crystal shouted at the camera. Ha ha ha. The audience burst into laughter. Chapter 38 Big Name Haters. I heard Link's an orphan, didn't go to school much, and used to be a petty thug in El Monte. But look at him, so relaxed on stage, speaking clearly and logically, spouting inspiring quotes one after another. How could someone like that come from the slums? In a Los Angeles bar, Al Simmons, an entertainment reporter for the Los Angeles Times, pointed to a well-dressed, handsome, and eloquent man on TV and said to his companions, "What do you mean?" a reporter from the American Express asked. "Do you think the huge success of Barrett might be a hoax, a successful publicity stunt?" "A publicity stunt? How?" a reporter from USA Today asked. Perhaps Link wasn't from a poor family. He grew up in privileged conditions and received an excellent education, especially in directing and acting, where he received professional guidance, giving him strong directing abilities. And the people behind him, to create a genius director or for him, deliberately fabricated the film Barrett. First, they misled a number of film companies, then they made the film difficult to release, resulting in a global box office smash and setting a record for the highest profit margin in film history. This huge contrast generated immense buzz, and with media coverage, Barrett continued to be a huge hit, making Link an overnight sensation. "Doesn't that sound reasonable?" Al Simmons said slowly, narrowing his eyes. "Al, are you desperate for a big story?" Barrett was a huge success because of its quality. Initially, it only screened in 1 theater, but because of its good box office performance, it gradually gained the support of theaters. It wasn't due to hype. "You've got the cause and effect wrong," said a reporter from The Hollywood Reporter. So, is it possible that Barrett wasn't directed by Link, or that it wasn't just 2 people as he said, but a group of people with more professional filmmakers guiding them? That's the secret to Barrett's high quality. Anyway, I don't believe Link could make a masterpiece like Barrett with his first film. Al Simmons stroked his stubble, pondering the possibility of this speculation. After speaking, he wanted to hear his colleagues' opinions, but when he turned around, he found several of them gone. He looked around and saw several colleagues gathered around Thomas Miller, a veteran reporter for the American Tribune, listening to Thomas explain a recent paranormal event in Connecticut. According to a Tribune investigation last year, a Campbell couple from New York moved to northern Connecticut, not far from the hospital, to seek treatment for their son's illness. They found an old house that was just about to be rented out. The house was nice, but strange noises often occurred at night, and ghosts appeared, which was very frightening. They learned that the old house had originally been a funeral home. The news was initially reported by local media, and later Fox News followed up, capturing some suspicious footage. The incident caused a huge stir last year, dubbed the Connecticut Haunted House Incident, and the Tribune sent a team to investigate, including Thomas Miller. When Thomas arrived, everyone crowded around to ask what was going on. Al Simmons, bored with the whole thing, returned to the bar to watch TNT's talk show, A Conversation with Barrett director Link, hoping to dig up some useful news material. On television, host Billy Crystal interviewed Link. With a huge success of Barrett, he had been hailed by the media as a genius director and highest-grossing director of all time. Crystal asked him if he felt any pressure. Link replied that he didn't. Instead of worrying about whether he could bear the praise, he focused on his current work, because ultimately, a director's ability is demonstrated through their films, not by being labeled a genius director. HMPH, Al Simmons took a swig of beer, annoyed. Link was only 20 years old, yet he spoke with impeccable eloquence, leaving no opportunity to find newsworthy material for a publicity stunt. Link, after the huge success of Barrett, many film critics said that its success was unrepeatable and highly accidental, and that your future films couldn't possibly surpass it. What do you think of this? Asked host Billy Crystal. Hearing this question, Al Simmons perked up slightly, wanting to see if Link admitted that the success of Barrett was due to luck. Regardless of whether he admitted it or not, there was something worth exploring. Success? How do you define the success of a film? Is it just the box office return rate as the sole criterion, or total box office revenue, awards won, place in film history, or impact on the film industry? Using only the box office return rate as the sole criterion is indeed difficult to replicate, but using other factors as the criteria for defining success, I might be able to do even better. Clap clap clap. A round of applause came from the television. Shit. He cleverly avoided the main point again. Al Simmons slammed his fist on the counter. Just as he was about to leave the bar to find some news outside, he suddenly heard Billy Crystal mention Robert Downey Jr. in the next question. In its third week of release, Barrett surpassed Chaplin at the North American box office, climbing to fourth place on the weekly box office chart. Robert Downey Jr. publicly criticized Barrett as a poorly made film and mocked Link for trying to gain attention on the red carpet. Al Simmons was also present at that interview. The incident caused a huge uproar in the entertainment industry. Robert Downey Jr. faced criticism from some, and Link's public image was also somewhat affected. Afterwards, many media outlets wanted to interview Link about his opinion on the matter and how he would evaluate Robert Downey Jr.'s behavior. Unfortunately, Link always avoided the topic. Now that Billy Crystal had brought up the issue, even though it was rehashing old news, if Link could get some fresh ingredients out there, it wouldn't be a bad feast for public opinion. Al Simmons pulled out his interview notebook, intently watching the television, listening to the host's questions, when suddenly he felt a crowd around him and a warm sensation on his back. He turned around. Good heavens! The guys who had been surrounding Thomas Miller listening to his ghost stories had all swarmed around him in the blink of an eye, their ears sharper than dogs. Link, when Barrett was showing, Robert Downey Jr. and many filmmakers publicly criticized it, saying it was poorly made and shouldn't have earned those box office numbers. They even mentioned that you used the Chaplin premiere to release Barrett. I think you saw that news. What were your thoughts at the time? Billy Crystal asked. Is this gossip time? Link joked. Stop talking nonsense and answer me. Al Simmons slammed his fist on the counter and yelled at the television. Okay, that's funny. Robert Downey Jr. is a famous movie star, arguably the top actor of the younger generation, or at least in the top 3, while I was just a nobody back then. The day the news broke, a friend of mine was yelling at me with a copy of the Los Angeles Times. Link, come look. Robert Downey Jr. publicly denounced Barrett as a terrible movie and mocked you for trying to ride the Chaplin red carpet. You're going to be famous, ha ha ha. Everyone burst into laughter at Link's changed voice. I wrote the report. Link must have read mine. Al Simmons clapped and laughed. SHH, don't talk, listen to Link, several reporters nearby warned. So when you saw that news, you weren't angry, you were actually quite happy, Billy Crystal asked. I'm not happy. Being insulted for no reason is obviously not a happy thing. I'm not angry either, Because the newspapers said Mr. Robert Downey Jr. said those illogical things while drunk. It would be petty to argue with a drunk person, and I never bring it up in public afterward. The only thing that disappoints me is that Robert Downey Jr. hasn't offered any explanation or apology since he sobered up. You want Robert Downey Jr. to apologize to you? If he does, great. We're all in the entertainment industry, we'll inevitably meet or collaborate in the future. A strained relationship isn't good for building good relationships. If he doesn't apologize, that's fine too. Having a big-name hater is a fun and rare experience. At least, Billy, none of your haters are that big name. No, I don't have any haters. My fans love me. But I'm also jealous that you have a big-name hater, ha ha ha. The audience laughed. This link is quite humorous, Al Simmons said, stroking his chin in the bar. Not only is he humorous and witty, but he's also a very intelligent guy. Indeed, he knows Robert Downey Jr. has a huge influence in the entertainment industry, a massive fan base, and the Downey family has extremely strong connections within the industry. They're also VIP clients of CAA. Going head-on against him wouldn't be advantageous for Link, a rising star in the entertainment world. He avoided the main issue, using the situation against him, not mentioning the film controversy, only bringing up the fact that Robert Downey Jr. hadn't apologized. He acted very rationally. For someone his age, to do this is rare. He's certainly not an ordinary young man. Now all the pressure is on Robert Downey Jr. Do you think he'll apologize? Al Simmons asked his colleagues. Chapter 39, You want me to apologize? An apology? Absolutely not, Robert Downey Jr. yelled into the phone in his Beverly Hills mansion. Why not apologize? You're a public figure, and you've made a serious mistake by criticizing a fellow filmmaker while drunk. Now mainstream opinion thinks you're wrong and should apologize, so you should apologize. The longer you drag it out, the greater the negative impact. I will never apologize. Was I wrong to say Barrett was a shoddy production? What good stuff can you make for $20,000? Robert Downey Jr. sneered. Barrett has a great chance of breaking $40 million at the global box office next week, a 2,000-fold return. What makes you call it a bad movie? Ridiculous. High box office necessarily means a good movie? I remember when you were a kid, you made a movie that only grossed a few $1,000s. You told me a movie's quality isn't about box office, but about its artistry. Why are you using box office as the standard now? Shut up, Robert Downey Sr. roared on the phone. Robert, you're not the protagonist of the world. Not all movies you dislike are bad. Barrett is a film of extremely high artistic merit. Its narrative structure, style, and filming techniques are all above average, a mature work. You dislike this movie because you're jealous of Link, jealous of someone younger than you who's more successful. Nonsense. Jealous of him? He just got lucky and succeeded with one movie, while I'm one of Hollywood's most popular actors, with dozens of successful films. Why would I be jealous of him? At least you can't make a movie that grosses over $40 million with only $20,000, can you do it? Which of your movies has ever grossed over $10 million? Damn it. Go ahead and be reckless, go down this path, let's see how far you can go. Click, the phone slammed shut. Robert Downey Jr. hung up too, turning to his agent, Jimmy Ritchie, who entered the living room. CAA wants me to apologize to Link too. The company's opinion is, do what you want. Apologize if you want, don't apologize if you don't. Link's just a new director, don't worry about him too much. What's your opinion? Robert Downey Jr. poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handing one to Jimmy Ritchie. I think you should apologize. Thud. Robert Downey Jr. released his grip, and the glass that should have been in Jimmy Ritchie's hand crashed to the floor, the dark brown liquor seeping into the white carpet. I think it doesn't matter whether you apologize or not. First of all, Link is just a small fry, he won't affect you much. Secondly, in the entertainment industry, you shouldn't only have friends, you should also have a few rivals. The existence of rivals and the tempering will make you more motivated and stronger. You're right, that makes a lot of sense. But a nobody like Link isn't worthy of being my rival. Robert Downey Jr. handed another glass of wine to Jimmy Ritchie. Yes, Link pressured you through the TV show, trying to force you to apologize. But he underestimates you. No one can force you to apologize unless you want to. That's right. I really dislike his audacity in trying to force me to apologize and maliciously mocking me on TV. I want him back in the slums. What can you do? He's now a client of WMA agency, worth millions, even tens of millions. It's difficult to do it conventionally. What unconventional methods are there? We could arrange a hitman, a car accident, or make him a victim of financial fraud. Damn it. I just want to see him suffer, not commit a crime. What's with arranging a hitman? Does CIA also represent hitman agents? I don't know. But besides unconventional methods, there's no other good way to deal with him right now. However, it's not without a chance. We just need to wait a year or two. When his next movie comes out, if the box office is poor, we won't need to do anything. The media will ridicule him for getting lucky and landing a blockbuster movie. Without that luck, his movies will be garbage. From then on, Link's career will suffer a huge downturn, which will be a good opportunity for us to act. That's a good idea. Let's put up with him for another movie, and see how high this slum-born scoundrel can jump. Clang. Robert Downey Jr. raised his glass to his agent. After the program A Conversation with Barrett director Link aired on TNT, its peak viewership reached 10.5 million, not breaking records but still entering the top 10 of the program's ratings. The program covered many topics that attracted media and public attention, including Link's directing journey, his idol being Sylvester Stallone, Link's indifference to money, the creative process of Barrett, and his failed script submissions. The topic of the conflict between Link and Robert Downey Jr. caused a huge stir in the American entertainment industry. Because Robert Downey Jr. is a big star and a teen idol, and Link is a popular director and an inspirational figure, both are currently very popular, and anything involving them is marketable. Therefore, major media outlets jump in, commenting, analyzing, digging deep, reporting, stirring up trouble, and fueling conflict everywhere, gradually turning this small dispute into a larger controversy. In this controversy, Robert Downey Jr.'s fans vehemently supported their idol, believing he was innocent and that making drunken remarks is common and everyone makes mistakes. They argued that Link shouldn't hold a grudge or bring up old issues, claiming he was using Downey's fame to promote Barrett. Film star Kiefer Sutherland publicly accused Link of becoming arrogant and disrespectful after gaining fame, demanding a public apology. Supporters of Link argued that he was magnanimous by not taking Downey's ramblings to heart and giving him a chance to apologize. However, Downey's continued silence suggested either a lack of awareness of his mistake or arrogance, deeming an apology unnecessary for a new director like Link. Regardless, they felt Downey's actions were poor and disappointing. Neutral opinions held that as a public figure, Downey's public criticism of a fellow film negatively impacted box office performance, and therefore he should apologize. Link did indeed seem to be riding the coattails of Chaplin's popularity during the promotion of Barrett, and should reflect on his actions. Both sides should be held equally responsible. This controversy, sparked by a television interview, lingered in the American media for several days before gradually fading away. After reports of Barrett's overseas box office performance last week, its North American box office showed a surprising dip. Coupled with this promotional surge, Barrett's North American box office performance this week was even higher. Over the weekend, hundreds of theaters showing Barrett had occupancy rates exceeding 80%, forcing many theaters to increase screenings to meet audience demand. By Monday, Barrett's sixth-week box office results were released, showing $3.85 million in 201 theaters across North America, with occupancy rates approaching those of its third week. It surged from 9th to 3rd place in the weekly box office rankings, behind only the newly released The Incredibles and Basic Instinct. This box office surge also helped Barrett surpass $15 million in North America, reaching an astonishing $16.56 million. Overseas, Barrett grossed $14.74 million in 28 countries and regions this week. While this is a significant drop from last week's $18.37 million, Barrett has grossed over $10 million overseas for 2 consecutive weeks, bringing its total to $33.11 million. For a film with a production cost of only $20,000, this is still a remarkable achievement. Media outlets initially predicted Barrett would gross around $50 million worldwide. With this week's box office results, $50 million is no longer enough to stop Barrett's upward momentum. $60 million or even $70 million is a strong possibility. This has led to an increasingly exaggerated return on investment for Barrett, from 1,000 times to 3,000 times, making Link's reputation as a genius director even brighter. The Los Angeles Times called Link a golden boy in directing, saying no one knows better than him how to turn $20,000 into $50 million at the box office. USA Today praised Link for showing all independent filmmakers a path to huge box office success with minimal investment. His success gave independent filmmakers courage and confidence. Meanwhile, the success of Barrett also made Hollywood studios lower their arrogance and pay more attention to independent films. The Washington Post commented that a film directed by an Asian director and starring Asian actors could gross over $16 million in the U.S., proving that Hollywood is more inclusive than before. The Global Times stated that Barrett is the first film in history starring a Chinese actor to gross over $50 million, and also the first film directed by a Chinese director to gross over $50 million. Boss, look how many people are praising you in the newspapers. You're a big star now, right? In the office, Liu Xiaoli smiled and handed him a cup of tea, her slender white fingers contrasting beautifully with the emerald green porcelain cup. Why are you always concerned about this kind of thing? I worked on the set of A Native of Beijing in New York. Chinese people in Hollywood face a lot of discrimination and find it hard to establish themselves. Now you're a big star in Hollywood, and I'm so proud of you. Liu Xiaoli blinked her bright, peach blossom eyes, her pretty face beaming with a smile, like peach blossoms in April, dazzlingly beautiful, or like a mountain spring, her smile cool and sweet. A single compliment from this woman seemed to surpass 1,000 words from the pile of newspapers on the table, making him feel incredibly refreshed. Lin Kei smiled gently, listening to Liu Xiaoli's soft words. He couldn't help but recall how, for this film, he had worked tirelessly, day and night, lying in a small wooden box, repeatedly filming a single scene dozens of times until he was completely satisfied. Sometimes, he would continue filming alone until midnight. After filming was completed, to save money, he spent 3 consecutive days in the editing room editing the videotapes, eating bread when hungry and drinking mineral water when thirsty. He fought day and night for 3 days to finish editing the film. At the Sundance Film Festival, in an effort to promote his film, he went around seeking screenings of Barrett, only to be rejected by every distributor. He was nearly broke by the time he left Park City. Back in Los Angeles, he continued his desperate search for distribution companies, contacting over 30, only to be rejected again. Finally, out of desperation, he sold the script and embarked on the path of self-financing distribution. Fortunately, his hard work paid off. All his past efforts were rewarded. Chapter 40. Miss Connery. Haha, Link, congratulations, you've made history. At the Barrett celebration party, Sam Haskell walked over laughing, followed by a beautiful woman. Sam, don't exaggerate, it's just a box office record, haha, film history's history too. This is Jennifer Connelly, I think you should know her. Sam Haskell pointed to the woman beside him, wearing a white sleeveless dress, her long flaxen hair cascading over her shoulders, dressed very simply, like a Greek temple priestess. The woman was in her early 20s, with large, light blue eyes, a straight nose, and delicate features. Beneath this pure beauty, the ample curve of her breasts beneath her neckline added a touch of sensuality. Jennifer was a child star, a Jewish American, who at 14 played the younger version of Deborah in Once Upon a Time in America, becoming a global sensation with a dance scene considered by many film fans to be one of the most beautiful film clips in history. Jennifer Connelly, thanks to her role as young Deborah, was hailed as Hollywood's innocent beauty. However, as she grew older, the innocent beauty label not only failed to bring her roles and fame, but also became an obstacle to her career advancement. To transform her image, in recent years Jennifer Connelly has taken on many mature and sexy roles. In the 1990 crime film Boiling Point, she didn't hesitate to undress, revealing her beautiful upper body, much to the delight of audiences. She is a very professional and hard-working actress. Ms. Connelly, welcome, welcome. It's an honor to have you here. Director Link, congratulations on the success of Barrett, it's a great film. Jennifer Connelly tilted her head back, her light blue eyes reflecting his image. Her gaze remained innocent, but her tone was lukewarm, making it unclear whether her praise was genuine or merely polite. Thank you. Miss Connery, welcome again. After a brief greeting, Jennifer Connelly went to greet the other guests at the party. Sam Haskell stayed behind to speak. Link, are you preparing for a new movie? Yes, it's in pre-production, and we're planning to start filming next week. Next week? So soon? It's been in pre-production for over a month, so it's not too fast. Is the film investment, crew, lead and supporting actors all in place, more or less? Is there a suitable role for Jennifer? She's beautiful, and her acting is quite good, isn't it? Sam Haskell pointed to Jennifer Connery in the crowd. Dressed in a white top and skirt, with delicate features, a tall figure, and an indifferent expression, she looked like a Hollywood version of a fairy godmother. After she joined the party, the men all greeted her, and those who didn't have the courage to greet her at least gave her a long, respectful look from afar. This small celebration party seemed to have suddenly become much more upscale after she joined. She's very beautiful, and she's also your client, that's right. My former client retired, and I now only represent the two of you. Is there a suitable role for Jennifer? Unfortunately, this film is still an experimental one, with a small budget and a limited cast of 4. The lead actress has already been cast, and for the supporting role, I need a relatively unknown newcomer. Jennifer isn't suitable, she's too beautiful and already very famous. Only 4 actors? What kind of movie are you making? I hope it's not the kind I'm thinking of. Sam Haskell raised an eyebrow, giving him a strange look. No, it's a very trendy movie, you definitely can't imagine. Okay, a lot of people in the industry are paying attention to your movie now. Some want to see you fail, others want to see if you really have the talent and if it's worth investing in. The importance of this movie is self-evident. Isn't it too risky for you to continue making low-budget, very trendy movies? Low-budget movies have low costs, so it doesn't matter if they fail. I'm 20 years old, I can withstand the test of failure. You're amazing. No matter how much the outside world praises you, you still stick to your own ideas. Rumor has it you're a stubborn person, and it's true. Okay, I don't know much about filmmaking, but there are many professionals among the company's clients. If you need help, feel free to contact me, no problem. After talking with Sam Haskell, Link, holding a champagne glass, chatted with Jerome Preston, William Mason, and film critic Will Roger, congratulating William Mason on his promotion and thanking the 3 for their help during the release of Barrett. Although he had the system to guarantee the movie's success, the process wasn't easy, as evidenced by this week's box office decline. The process was crucial. With the help of several people, he avoided many detours. Link, you're truly remarkable. I'm not talking about the box office returns of Barrett, but your persistence and dedication before the film's release. No one can match you in that, Jerome Preston remarked. Thank you, I just did what I was supposed to do. Link, I heard you're preparing a new film. Can you share some information? Will Roger asked, holding a glass of champagne. Link had a certain fondness for this man. Will Roger was not only the first to write a film review praising Barrett, but he was also the first audience member for Barrett at the Burbank United Theaters. Furthermore, the second film's shooting period was short, and some pre-production media hype would save a lot of time and money on promotion when the film was released. Sure, it's still a thriller, still a small-budget film, still very exciting. Will you continue to star? No, all new actors. Hearing Link talk about his new film, besides Will Roger, several media figures invited to the party also gathered around. Link, using newcomers means there's no guarantee of acting skills, and they don't have a significant advantage in terms of box office appeal. Isn't this too risky? Ross Stanton, entertainment editor of the Los Angeles Times, asked. Risking is the only way to progress. I'm young, and conservatism doesn't suit my attitude towards film. Well said. Jim Carrey, who was invited, clapped his hands from outside the crowd. People around him turned to look at him. Link is absolutely right. Jim Carrey shrugged and smiled. Director Link, what's the budget for this film? Is it exclusively produced by Guessing Pictures, or is it a collaboration with other film companies? The deputy editor of The Hollywood Reporter raised his hand and asked. Mr. Kutch, I can't tell you the exact budget at the moment, only that it's not high, and it's exclusively produced by Guessing Pictures. Director Link, in the directing world, many directors often experience failure with their second film after making a very successful one. Are you trying to avoid this failure by suppressing the budget for your second film? A media person asked. Trying to avoid failure is a foolish thing to do. I'm a newcomer to film, currently in the exploratory stage. Every film is an exploration and experiment for me with film, the film market, and the audience. These explorations are about finding the path to success, not avoiding failure. Director Link, have you assessed the box office performance of this film? Are you confident that it will surpass Barrett and create an even more amazing result? Ross Stanton, entertainment editor of the Los Angeles Times, asked. Mr. Stanton, that's a very premature question. After all, the film hasn't even started shooting yet. However, I hope this film does even better at the box office, and I hope that the box office performance of Barrett is not the peak of my career, but the beginning. That's great." Just as Jim Carrey was about to say that, he heard a shout from the side. A muscular man in a suit was standing on tiptoe, clapping as he looked inside, his short, thick eyebrows dancing with excitement. Next to the stocky man, a tall, voluptuous woman was also clapping, smiling brightly as she looked at Link in the crowd, her eyes burning with passion, as if she were looking at someone she deeply loved. The woman seemed to notice his gaze, her smile instantly vanishing, replaced by a blank expression. Jim Carrey shrugged, refocusing his attention on Link. "All right everyone, this is the Barrett celebration party. Please make yourselves at home. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me privately. I'd love to discuss them with you," Link called out from the crowd, stepping forward to speak one-on-one with the party guests. "Link, you always spout a bunch of grand theories. You should be a speaker, not a director," Quentin Tarantino quipped. "Okay, I'll consider your opinion, Link. When do you start filming? Can I visit your set?" Bald director Steven Soderbergh asked. "No problem, but you'd better come early. My film's shooting schedule is very short." After the Barrett celebration party, Link's remarks were relayed by the media present. Miramax, New Line Cinema, and Carlock Pictures were disappointed to hear that Link's new film was still a low-budget production requiring no investment. However, they were puzzled by his decision to use only newcomers, omitting any established actors. Without stars, how could a film guarantee box office success? Without famous actors, newcomers' acting skills were unlikely to be up to par, raising concerns about film quality. A film without quality or box office guarantees was highly risky. Unable to understand Link's motives, the film companies continued to monitor the film's progress. This film would provide the answer to whether Link had the potential to succeed and whether he was worth pursuing. Chapter 41 Filming begins. Ow! I want to fly. On the Western Pacific Coastal Highway, the sun shone brightly, the azure sky blending seamlessly with the ocean below. Tall palm trees stood silently on both sides of the road, like soldiers with explosive hairstyles. A red convertible sped southward against the sea breeze. Chris Bauer, in the passenger seat, suddenly stood up, clenching his fist and yelling, "Shut up! This is the highway, standing is dangerous, get out!" Daniel DeVito, driving, shouted. "Haha, Daniel, you know what? I'm so excited, so incredibly excited. The thing I've always wanted to do most is sit in a sports car, speeding along California's highways, looking at the ocean, the blue sky, and the skyscrapers rushing past. It's so cool," Chris Bauer roared hysterically, bulging his arm muscles. "Stop talking nonsense, sit down and buckle up, okay? The only difference from what I imagined is that the person next to me should be one or two hot girls in hot pants, not a greasy old man like you." Chris Bauer glanced at Daniel DeVito, who was wearing a casual suit, had a large head, a receding hairline, and wore black-rimmed glasses. HMPH, Daniel DeVito didn't say anything, his face sour. "Daniel, we're on vacation, why are you always so grumpy? Smile, don't ruin the vacation atmosphere, shut up." "We're not on vacation, we're making a movie," Link said. "We can treat this shoot as a vacation." Link might not be right. "Chris, you should know what this movie means to Link." "How should I know? With my muscles, you can tell I'm not very bright." "Can you stop speaking in riddles?" Chris Bauer clenched his biceps. Daniel DeVito shook his head. "It means whether Link can establish himself in Hollywood. He's a genius director now, and many film companies and media outlets are watching him. If this film succeeds, Link can also establish himself in Hollywood. If it fails, he will be ridiculed by everyone, lose the genius director halo, and go from a genius director to an ordinary director. Besides, if Link's film fails, the company might go bankrupt, and you will lose your job." "Hiss, is it that serious? What should we do, Daniel? You're a veteran producer, is there any way to prevent this film from failing?" "There's no way. Link is too stubborn and won't listen to any advice. So I hope you can spend some time persuading Link to focus on the film and not on other things." "Other things? What do you mean? What do you think?" Daniel DeVito adjusted his black-rimmed glasses and looked at the silver Cadillac DeVille in front of him, where Link and Monica Bellucci were sitting. When he first heard that Link planned to make his second film with $20,000, he felt it was highly improbable. Then he saw the script only had two main actors, a man and a woman. and most of the scenes involved them sleeping in bed. Seeing the female lead, Monica Bellucci, he instantly suspected that the film crew was fake, the movie was fake, and the real purpose was to pick up the girl. Link had deliberately fabricated this script to win a chance to get intimate with Monica Bellucci. If his suspicion was true, this trip to San Diego would have been a waste. If it was a misunderstanding, the film's chances of success seemed slim. He wasn't just worried about Link's new film, but also about his own future. Ring ring, the phone in the car rang. Link, what's up? Chris Bauer answered the phone first. There's a car following us, a black Chevrolet SUV. They've been following us from Los Angeles, probably paparazzi. Yes, there is one. Should we get out and intercept it? Chris Bauer looked back. On the empty highway, about 300 meters away, there was a black Chevrolet. Through the windshield, he could vaguely see two men in the front seat, one of whom was holding binoculars. No need. Daniel, once we get to DeMar County, we'll split up and try to shake them off. I heard you. After hanging up, the Cadillac in front began to accelerate, while Daniel DeVito slowed down, driving slowly forward. The black Chevrolet behind also suddenly accelerated, catching up with the Cadillac. Daniel DeVito checked the situation behind him and, seeing no cars following, drove into DeMar County, circled around, and then sped towards San Diego. San Diego County is the southernmost city in California, about 200 kilometers from Los Angeles and 5 kilometers from the US-Mexico border. The reason for choosing this location for filming was that the house designs better matched the script's setting, and another reason was its distance from Hollywood, avoiding paparazzi harassment and allowing for quiet filming. Around 1 p.m., when the Southern California sun was blazing, Daniel DeVito drove, with a sleepy Chris Bauer in tow, to the Mission Valley, an affluent residential area east of San Diego State Historical Park. San Diego is the second largest city in California and the 8th largest in the United States, home to headquarters or branches of major telecommunications and biopharmaceutical companies such as Qualcomm, Pfizer, Novartis, and Amgen. The development of telecommunications and biopharmaceutical technologies has created many wealthy individuals here, and Mission Valley is one of its affluent areas. Daniel parked his car in front of Villa N23 in the Villa area, a villa he had arranged to rent in advance. The villa occupies approximately 2,200 square meters, with a lawn in the front and a garden in the back. It has 4 bedrooms, a large terrace, a basketball court, a swimming pool, and other amenities, making for a pleasant environment. Daniel, this place is nice, it suits my needs perfectly, but there are a few details in the room that need improvement. Here are some sketches, please have someone redesign them. As soon as the car stopped, Link stepped out of the villa, holding several sketches with suggested revisions. Okay, I'll have someone revise them right away. Daniel took the sketches, got into the car, and drove off. Link, what do I need to do? Chris Bauer asked, yawning. First, help me set up the recording equipment and lighting equipment in the right positions. The sofa in the living room also needs to be moved, and 3 mechanisms need to be set up in the bedroom. We'll talk about the rest when we're filming, no problem. I'm not good at much else, but I'm best at physical labor. Chris Bauer flexed his arm muscles, waddled over, and hoisted the boxes on the ground into the villa. Link, look at me, how do I look in this outfit? Monica Bellucci emerged from the bedroom, having changed into a white artistic t-shirt, blue jeans, and brown sneakers. Some of her long, dark brown hair had been cut short, falling to her shoulders. This was Link's requirement. The female lead was a 24 or 25-year-old female college student, and she needed to embody the spirit of a college student, dressing like a young person. Not bad. But to play this role well, you need to truly immerse yourself in the character, appearing innocent and lively, especially when interacting with a male lead. Being casual will make the relationship between the couple seem intimate. This intimacy, interspersed within the eerie events, will both control the pacing and create a sense of tension and relaxation in the plot, while also serving as a contrast to enhance the suspense. I understand. I only graduated from university 5 years ago. Playing a college student is easy for me. Monica Bellucci linked her arm with his, leaning her head on his shoulder, humming softly. What are you doing? We're a couple. Practicing beforehand will make our performance more natural and harmonious, right? Monica Bellucci smiled, blinking her long eyelashes. Okay. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42: Intimate Relationships. 3 days before arriving in San Diego, Link guided Chris Bauer and 2 interior designers in rearranging the interior furnishings, including the placement of the sofa, dining table, chandeliers, bed, and wall hangings. In this adjustment, he didn't simply replicate the scenes from the original film, but rather made flexible adjustments based on his understanding of the script and his personal aesthetic style, prioritizing convenience. During these 3 days, he and Monica Bellucci lived in the villa as a couple, exercising in the mornings, cooking and eating, playing tennis, and rehearsing lines, their relationship growing increasingly intimate. However, whenever Daniel DeVito saw the two of them together, he seemed hesitant to speak, his expression growing more serious each day. Link could roughly guess his concerns. He worried that the film's investment would fail, impacting the company's development. He didn't proactively explain Daniel's anxiety, neither saying the film was good, nor that its box office potential was high, nor that his interactions with Monica were necessary for the plot. Explaining things before the film's release wouldn't be easy. "Honey, how do I look? Are my thighs a little thick?" Monica Bellucci lay on the sofa, holding a fashion magazine, and nudged his leg with her toe. "Not thick, very sexy." Link fiddled with the recording equipment in his hands. The equipment of the 1990s was vastly different from what it was a decade later. Now, the biggest challenge for a director wasn't filming, but navigating the various bulky pieces of equipment on set. How do you know without even looking? You're 174 centimeters tall, 60 kilograms, and your measurements are 8'9", 6'1", 8'9 centimeters. You have a tall, curvy figure. Just looking at the numbers, you know you're very sexy. I'm 58.5 kilograms now. After getting the script from you last time, I started losing weight, and I've lost about 3 pounds. Very good. Link continued fiddling with the equipment. Link, you definitely don't have a girlfriend, right? How do you know? A workaholic like you, with only work and equipment on your mind, girls have no chance to get close to you. I was poor before, and I'm busy now, so I really don't have time to find a girlfriend. Want me to introduce you to one? Monica Bellucci sat up, leaning on his shoulder, her warm breath brushing against his ear, her back a soft, warm surface, the raised area making his hand tremble. Sure, but I have high standards for a girlfriend. What standards? Tell me. Beautiful, beautiful, and beautiful again. TCH, do you think I'm beautiful? Monica Bellucci hugged his shoulder, turning her face to him, winking at him, her beautiful face and exquisite features almost flawless. Very beautiful, thank you. We have a few kissing scenes in the film. Want to practice now? I'm worried I might not perform well during the actual filming due to nervousness. Monica Bellucci pursed her lips, making them even redder and more sensual. Okay, a little more practice won't hurt. Link put down the recording equipment, casually put his arm around Monica's soft waist, and half embraced her, letting her rest on his knees. He lowered his head and kissed her full lips. Monica also wrapped her arms around his neck, passionately returning the kiss. The temperature in the San Diego room seemed to rise rapidly along with their body heat. Link's hands unconsciously rested on her soft waist. After kissing for a while, hearing footsteps on the stairs, Link released Monica, whose face was flushed. Link, the lights upstairs are installed. Go up and take a look. Chris Bauer came downstairs with 2 workers. Okay, Link went upstairs to check the lighting. Since most of the filming for Paranormal Activity took place in the bedroom, the lighting in the bedroom had to be suitable for the filming. It couldn't be too bright, nor too dim. It had to be a cold, eerie color, like a moonlit forest at night, giving a sense of dread. Link checked it over and instructed the staff to make some minor adjustments to achieve the desired effect. That's good. Monica, shall we start filming now? I'm fine with it, anytime. Monica smiled, arms crossed. Then let's start filming. Chris, you and Daniel can go rest. I'll call you over if I need anything. Okay, we're leaving now. You two can relax here and enjoy your date. No, I mean filming. Absolutely no one will bother you. Chris Bauer winked at him. Link didn't explain. After seeing Chris Bauer and the others off, he and Monica began filming. Scene 1, take 1, action, beep beep beep. Monica Bellucci drove her red convertible back to the villa from the highway. Link walked to the door with the camera. Honey, what's wrong? Link adjusted the camera's focus, pointing the lens at Monica Bellucci in the car. "What's that?" Monica Bellucci took off her sunglasses and asked, looking at the camera in his hand. "Hi, honey, is this what I wanted?" "Yes, I don't know what model you want, but don't worry about it, it works great." Link walked to the sports car with the camera and filmed Monica Bellucci. "I think this is a large camera." "What did you modify that small handheld camera for? Can it rotate, or is it multifunctional?" Monica Bellucci gestured with her arms. "Are you going to park the car or sit in the car and watch me?" "Okay, I'll park the car." Monica started the car and parked it in the garage. Link filmed for a few seconds, then returned to the living room with the camera. The two had rehearsed the opening scene more than 10 times, and the entire process was very smooth during the actual filming. They had been living together for the past few days, and their relationship had become closer, making Monica more relaxed during her performance. The first scene went well overall. Cut. Get ready, let's continue filming the second scene. Time was limited, and Link planned to finish filming within 7 days. The scenes in the living room needed to be filmed within 2 days, and the remaining time would be used to film the strange noises in the bedroom and the ghost scenes. "This house is big and looks very nice, and the lighting is great." Monica Bellucci walked in from the doorway and closed it behind her. "Come kiss the camera," Link said from behind the camera. "No way. How much did this camera cost?" "How much? I don't want to kiss the camera, I want to kiss you." Monica leaned in and kissed him. Link turned the camera to film the two kissing for 4 or 5 seconds. "Do you think this camera is useful?" "Yes, with this camera, we can film paranormal events that are happening or about to happen." Link held the camera, pointing the lens at the dark hallway and the unlit second-floor staircase. After filming the opening scene, Link placed a camera in the kitchen and began filming while cooking, like a live broadcast in the internet age. In an era where no one was live streaming their personal lives. This filming technique was quite novel and could enhance immersion and the horror effect. This is why, despite its rough production, Paranormal Activity still attracted many viewers after its release. "Are we going to film everything?" Monica asked, standing by the pool. "No, we only need to film what happens to us. If someone encounters similar paranormal events in the future, we can help them resolve these problems." Link chopped meat and vegetables on the cutting board. "Then we'll have to rewatch those terrifying events over and over again, constantly reinforcing the impression." "That's terrifying." "You should understand that if things go smoothly, as long as we record those things with a camera, we can figure out what happened. Once we know the cause, we can address the problem and find a way to solve it." Link brandished the cleaver in his hand, his expression fierce and decisive. "Get rid of them forever, that's right, whatever it is, deal with it properly. If it's the neighbor's kid bothering you, peeping through your window at night, or doing anything similar, we can teach him a lesson once we have the evidence." "Impossible, unless that little boy has been stalking me since he was 8, sounds weird." When filming the kitchen scenes, Link was worried there wouldn't be enough footage, so he filmed continuously in the kitchen for an hour, showing everything from washing vegetables to chopping and cooking, until dinner was ready. "Link, your cooking seems pretty good." Monica Bellucci looked at the food on the table, 2 servings of spaghetti with meat sauce, 2 servings of vegetable and shrimp soup, and half an egg pie for each person. It looked and smelled delicious. "Try it." Link and Monica sat down to eat. Very good." Monica took a bite of the egg pie, squinted her eyes, and made an ambiguous humming sound. "Eat as much as you like. What if I gain weight?" "It's okay. The female lead is an ordinary female college student. You just need to be ordinary, not like a model. It doesn't matter if you're a little chubby or thin." These lines weren't in the script, but to achieve a better performance, the two would chat casually during filming, adding lines as they came to mind. They would talk about whatever came to mind, and then edit it after filming, so it didn't have much impact. "Link, is this considered making a movie?" "It's completely different from my previous movie-making experiences. It's more like shooting a home video." Monica ate her pasta and glanced at the camera on the table. "Don't worry, it will definitely be a good movie. Right now, the industry and the media are very interested in what your second movie will be about. If they know we're making a movie this way, they'll be incredulous. No matter what they think, we'll focus on filming and surprise them when the movie is released." "I believe you." Monica rested her cheek on her hand, smiling as she clinked glasses with him while holding her juice. Chapter 43. Things will fall into place naturally. After dinner, filming continued. The 21 days covered in Paranormal Activity were condensed into 7 days for filming, sometimes shooting night scenes during the day and daytime scenes at night, allowing for shooting all day long. On the first day, the male and female leads were chatting leisurely in the living room when a strange buzzing sound came from next door, instantly building tension. The male lead, Mika, took his camera to find the source of the sound and, after a while, discovered it was coming from the air conditioner, easing the tension. That first night, while sleeping in the bedroom, they heard scratching sounds coming from outside, waking them up. They searched everywhere but found nothing. The film's horror intensified. The next day, they sought help from Dr. Frederick, a wizard. The wizard, through his own intuition, indicated that an evil spirit was indeed in the house, growing by absorbing negative energy. He also warned the male lead not to use the divination board, as this would summon the evil spirit with dire consequences. When the male and female protagonists asked the wizard to exorcise the evil spirit, the wizard said he was only good at psychic communication, not exorcism, but could introduce them to Dr. Adras, a master exorcist. After the wizard left, only the two protagonists remained in the room. The evil spirit was confirmed to exist. The next night, while they were sleeping, the open door was slightly pulled back to its original position. This scene was captured by a camera placed in the bedroom. After they got up, they saw the strange movement of the door the night before through the camera. The atmosphere of terror continued to intensify. Link, I completely believe you now. This will be a good movie, Monica Bellucci said during dinner. Why do you say that? Just now you were cooking in the kitchen, and I was alone in the living room. I felt like there was something behind me. It was a scary feeling. You probably got into character with Katie, which is a good sign. It will make your performance more realistic during filming. Yes, after filming this movie, I'll probably have psychological trauma and be afraid to live alone. I can stay with you until you're not traumatized, Link joked. You said you'd move into the youth hostel to live with me after filming. Monica Bellucci smiled, her eyes fixed on him. No problem, I'll take responsibility. Hey, I'm here too. Can you two be a little less blatant when you're being affectionate? It's affecting my appetite. At the other end of the table, Chris Bauer smirked, eating his fragrant pineapple pork chop, his mouth greasy, showing no sign of lack of appetite. Don't talk. We're filming while we're talking. Another sound will ruin the scary atmosphere. Link pointed to the camera on the table. Chris Bauer snorted. The eerie atmosphere vanished, replaced by a rosy, ambiguous one. He was increasingly convinced that Daniel DeVito was right. Link was making this movie to woo Monica Bellucci. For the past few days, the two had been eating, living, and sleeping together, practically like a couple. Chris Bauer, munching on his pork chop, glanced at the sexy and beautiful Monica, her face flushed, secretly envying Link's good fortune with women. Link, are you filming? May I come in? Daniel DeVito asked from the doorway. We're eating, you can come in. Daniel DeVito entered, and Link poured him a glass of water. Daniel brought several photos of women, asking him to choose a supporting actress. The women in the photos were newcomers, possessing some acting experience but few works. Link looked through them and selected an actress who resembled future Oscar-winning actress Renee Zellweger, above average looks and with a good figure. Daniel handed him the girl's information. It was indeed Renee Zellweger, 23 years old, a recent graduate of the University of Texas, majoring in drama and having participated in stage performances, possessing some acting ability. The supporting actress is Katie's classmate. She appears twice in the film, advising the male lead not to use the fortune-telling board to avoid attracting evil spirits, and also persuading the female lead to move. Her role isn't large, and it's not difficult to act. Renee Zellweger could play the part. She's the one. Link, those media reporters somehow found out you're filming here, and now there are reports saying you're not filming, but on vacation with a sexy woman. Daniel DeVito adjusted his glasses, glancing at Monica Bellucci across from him. Don't pay attention to those rumors. We need to keep our filming here as secret as possible. Attracting media attention during filming is very inconvenient, I understand. Also, regarding the company, you submitted several scripts to film companies, and now 3 have responded, hoping to buy the adaptation rights. They're asking when you'd have time to discuss it. I don't have time right now. Tell them to wait until I finish filming, okay? Daniel DeVito nodded. Link, all 3 of your scripts have been picked up by film companies, Monica Bellucci asked in surprise. My scripts are all pretty good. They have good taste to have chosen them. You're amazing. I think I'm falling for you. Monica Bellucci pursed her lower lip, looking at him with burning eyes. Cough. Chris Bauer choked on his soup and took his plate outside the villa to eat. After dinner, Link and Monica continued filming in the villa, with Chris Bauer acting as a ghost, creating strange noises and disturbances. Because Chris Bauer was so clumsy, Link had to patiently teach him how to do things and to what extent before each take. Day 5, Scene 3, Action. On the 5th night, while the male and female leads were sleeping in bed, the female lead, Katie, woke up from a nightmare. Strange noises were coming from the room, and suddenly there was a heavy thud downstairs. Thud. The two took their cameras and went downstairs to look around, but found nothing. During the day, while the male protagonist was analyzing the sounds recorded by the audio equipment on his computer, he discovered some strange static, a hissing sound, like the whispers of an evil spirit. What's that sound? I've listened to it about 50 times. It's not speaking, it's not a language we can understand, it's not a dog barking, it's not street noise, and there's no sign of electronic interference. God? I think the thing might be in the bedroom, so I guess it might want to contact us. I think we should go out and buy a fortune-telling board. Oh, absolutely not, Monica and the supporting actress, Renee Zellweger, objected together. I don't want to know what it's saying, I just want to get away from it, Monica said. Believe me, it's a bad idea. Once we use the fortune-telling board to lure it into the house, it'll stay here and won't leave, Renee Zellweger said. Don't worry about what I'm doing, Link said, rubbing his forehead. Your job is to film. Don't even think about the fortune-telling board, Mika. Promise me, Mika, promise me, Monica said seriously. Okay, I promise I won't buy the fortune-telling board, okay, thanks. Hey, Mika, smile. Monica held up the camera, the lens pointed at Link. Link put on his headset and gave a wry smile. Cut. Link turned on the camera and played back the footage he had just shot. He found that the argument during the dialogue wasn't intense enough, making the plot feel disjointed. He gave Monica and Renee Zellweger pointers on how to deliver their lines and tone, and had them practice. The second take was much better. On the 13th night, Link shouted into the dark hallway with the camera. Hey, we haven't had any fun in a long time, are you scared? What else do you have up your sleeve? Stop filming, it's time to sleep. Monica, with her long hair down, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, waved from her bedroom. What else do you have up your sleeve? Bring it on, Link continued shouting into the dark downstairs with the camera. Hey, don't mess with it, Mika, stop fooling around and come back, you useless evil spirit, you're a piece of trash, you have no skills whatsoever, stop filming. Monica pulled Link back to the bedroom. Link put the camera on the tripod, pointed the lens at the bed, and then went to bed. Monica laid down next to him, resting her head on his shoulder, her hand stroking his chest muscles, her palm sliding down. Link chuckled softly and lowered his head to kiss the woman's red lips. Monica wrapped her arms around his neck, her fingers running through his hair. The blanket covering them began to ripple. Chapter 44 Dedication to Art. After finishing their business, Link and Monica continued filming. On the 13th night, the female lead was awakened by a noise downstairs and sat up in bed. What's wrong? I think I heard something. What? What did you hear? A bang, bang. Where did that sound come from? It sounds like downstairs. The two sat up, listening intently to see if there was any more noise. The room was silent for 5 or 6 seconds. Suddenly, a howl, like a demon's roar, came from the living room downstairs, followed by a bang, and the whole house seemed to shake. The male and female leads screamed in fright. During the filming of this scene, to achieve a more suspenseful effect, the howl and the sound of a heavy object falling would be amplified in post-production, making the howl more terrifying and the sound of the heavy object falling more chilling. Cut. Let's do it again, we didn't portray the suspense enough. Okay, Chris, one more time. Link picked up the walkie-talkie and gave instructions. The second take was even better. Link, I think the scariest part of the script is this, sleeping with the door open at night. Even without ghosts, I wouldn't dare sleep, Monica said, pointing to the open door. The main character needs to film the sounds outside the house, so the door can't be closed. Also, the camera is pointed at the dark hallway outside the door. While watching, the audience will always be staring at the dark doorway, watching for any changes, constantly on guard. This design will give the audience a strong sense of immersion and unease. I understand. I just wanted to say that your design is fantastic. This movie is sure to be amazing, Monica hugged his arm and kissed him on tiptoe. Link and Monica got out of bed and took the camera to film the scenes downstairs. After hearing strange noises downstairs, the male and female leads went downstairs. In the darkness, the living room chandelier swayed back and forth. "Chris, make the swaying less, don't make any noise. Draw the curtains first, don't let the sunlight in, okay?" After Chris adjusted it, Link and Monica went downstairs again to film. Shit. Those paparazzi are useless, they still haven't found the location where Link was filming, Robert Downey Jr. said, smoking marijuana in the Viper House bar in Hollywood. "That's normal. When Link was filming Barrett, I heard the filming location was in his apartment. The new movie is a small production, maybe only a few actors, and the filming location is also at home. It's not easy for the paparazzi to find it." Kiefer Sutherland leaned back on the sofa, his arms around a scantily clad stripper. Kiefer Sutherland, 27 years old, is the son of famous Hollywood actor Donald Sutherland and his second wife. His father, Donald Sutherland, debuted in the 1960s, appearing in hundreds of films and television series. His most famous works in China include E.R. Bethune, JFK, and Feng Xiaogang's Big Shot's Funeral, in which he played the lead role in the funeral scene. Kiefer Sutherland debuted in his teens, relying on his parents' connections in Hollywood, and has played leading and important supporting roles in over 30 films. His filmography includes the first season of Spielberg's TV series Amazing Stories, the romantic crime film The Robbers co-starring Sean Penn and Christopher Walken, the adventure film Stand By Me co-starring River Phoenix and Will Wheaton, and the war film 1969 co-starring Robert Downey Jr. and Winona Ryder, among others. His career is incredibly successful. This year, he starred as the third male lead in the suspenseful crime film A Few Good Men, alongside big names like Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. While his fame may not rival that of Robert Downey Jr., he is still considered one of the top 10 young actors in Hollywood. His girlfriend is Julia Roberts, who rose to fame 2 years ago with Pretty Woman. The two are considered one of the most popular celebrity couples in Hollywood, with their relationship frequently appearing in entertainment news. Kiefer Sutherland and Robert Downey Jr. have known each other for a long time. Kiefer Sutherland and Robert Downey Jr. collaborated on the 1988 film 1969. Sutherland's daughter with his ex-wife is named Sarah Judy, a name derived from Robert Downey Jr.'s ex-girlfriend, Sarah Jessica Parker. The two have always had a good relationship. Damn, I really don't understand how that bastard, a mere extra, can make movies, and how a film like Barrett could gross tens of millions. Audiences these days have no taste, Robert Downey Jr. said, annoyed. He's just lucky. He caught a wave in the film market, like Gerard Damiano's Deep Throat, Spielberg's Jaws, Stallone's Rocky. Once the wave is gone, he'll be back to being a nobody. I hope you're right, don't worry, nobody's lucky forever. His film is a small production, without big stars, so the box office is destined to be low. We can wait and see his film flop at the box office. Kiefer Sutherland patted his friend on the shoulder. After the huge success of Barrett, Robert Downey Jr.'s mood worsened day by day. While Chaplin received positive reviews, its box office performance was far from ideal. Barrett surpassed $60 million worldwide this week, while Chaplin currently only has $14.02 million worldwide, failing to even recoup its investment. This greatly displeased Robert Downey Jr. Kiefer Sutherland was also unhappy. The reason for their displeasure was that during the release of Chaplin, he and many stars from CAA, Chaplin's agency, helped promote the film, publicly praising Chaplin and uttering many effusive compliments. News of their support was everywhere in the media. They had initially thought that with their influence, Chaplin's box office performance would easily crush the $20,000 budget flop, Barrett. However, in both North American and international box office performance, Chaplin was completely outclassed by Barrett. In comparison, these big stars all became defeated by Barrett, a bunch of clowns. What angered them even more was, if they had teamed up and lost to top stars like Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, they would have accepted it without complaint. But this time, they had joined forces and lost to a relatively unknown Chinese-American director. Everyone knows that Chinese cinema is of poor quality, lacking both top-tier directors and internationally successful films. How good could Link be? To lose to someone like that is a disgrace. Ring ring, Robert Downey Jr.'s phone rang. He answered it briefly, then hung up with a strange expression on his face. What's wrong? Breaking news, Link is casting for the male lead in his new movie. Didn't his movie already start filming? Why is he only now looking for a male lead? HMPH, a rookie director from the slums. The crew is probably just a makeshift operation. It's understandable that he's looking for a male lead after filming has started. Haha, that's right, he's messing things up. I bet this movie is going to be a flop. No need to bet. What good movie can a director of his caliber make? A moment later, the two men, smoking specially rolled cigarettes, burst into laughter in the booth, snot and tears streaming down their faces. Chapter 45. The evil spirits are on the move. Cut. Monica, that's a bit off. Relax your expression a little more. You need to think about how Katie would feel seeing you sleepwalking. Try to get into the role. Okay, I understand. Scene 15, Shot 6, Take 3, Action. On the 15th night, the female lead suddenly sat up around 1 a.m., stood quietly by the bed for over an hour, and then sleepwalked out of the bedroom. The male lead woke up in the middle of the night and found no one in bed. He took his camera downstairs to look for her and found the distraught female lead on a hanging chair outside the villa. The male lead tried to persuade the female lead to go back inside to sleep, but she refused, her state extremely abnormal. The male lead went back into the villa to find a blanket. Boom! A loud stomping sound suddenly came from the direction of the bedroom on the second floor, very eerie in the darkness. When he went upstairs, he found the TV in the bedroom was on, the screen was full of static, and there was a crackling noise from the speakers. The male lead took his camera back to the bedroom to look for the evil spirit. The camera panned, and he suddenly saw the female lead standing behind him, screaming in fright. The female lead woke up, completely oblivious to her sleepwalking the night before. I don't remember anything. I only remember standing in the doorway, you pointing the camera at me, and you yelling at me. I don't remember why I was standing there at all. Monica Bellucci, dressed in a black tank top, stood in front of the computer monitor, watching the footage from the previous night, her unmade-up face showing fear and helplessness. You went downstairs and sat in the rocking chair. You were acting very strange, saying you really didn't want to come inside, so I came back to get a blanket, Link said from behind the camera. Wait, I talked to you. I don't think it was a normal conversation, but when I went upstairs, I saw footprints on the floor, and the TV was on. Oh, God, Monica covered her forehead in frustration. Cut. Good take, keep it. One more time. After filming scene 15, Link continued shooting the next scene. The male lead, realizing he couldn't catch the evil spirit, broke his promise and bought a fortune-telling board from outside, intending to communicate with it. The female lead was furious upon discovering this and slammed the door shut as she left. The male lead chased after her. After they left, the divination board on the table slowly began to move and then burst into flames in front of the camera. That afternoon, the male and female leads returned from shopping, and the male lead noticed some marks left on the divination board. During the filming of this scene, to make the track on the divination board move, Link, Daniel DeVito, and Chris Bauer discussed it several times and decided to use a remote control to manipulate the track, spending an extra $300 to manufacture 2 electronic remote controls. The divination board's spontaneous combustion was relatively simple, a small amount of white phosphorus mixed with a small amount of alcohol. The heat generated by the friction of the rotating track was enough to ignite the white phosphorus, which in turn ignited the alcohol. The first experiment involved too much white phosphorus, almost setting the table on fire. The second time, too little alcohol was added, resulting in a weak flame. It succeeded on the 4th attempt. The female lead saw that the male lead ignored her advice and used the divination board to communicate with an evil spirit, leading to an argument. The male lead tried to decipher the marks left by the evil spirit on the divination board, but to no avail. The atmosphere in the villa became even more eerie. On the night of the 17th, before going to bed, the male protagonist scattered a lot of laundry detergent on the floor near his bedroom door and in the second-floor hallway, hoping to find the evil spirit's hiding place. He woke up in the middle of the night to noise and found several strange footprints on the floor beside his bed. The laundry detergent on the door and in the hallway had also been slashed, leaving many footprints covered in detergent. The male protagonist, carrying a camera, followed the footprint-like marks to the small storage room next door. The roof panel of the storage room was pushed open. He climbed a ladder to the ceiling and found a childhood photo of the female protagonist, showing signs of burning. However, this villa was the male protagonist's home, and it was highly unusual for a lost childhood photo of the female protagonist to be there. On the 18th, the female protagonist called Dr. Idris, an exorcist, for help. Dr. Idris was out and couldn't return immediately. She then made another appointment with Dr. Frederick, hoping he could come and take a look. Dr. Frederick said he would be available the next day. On the night of the 18th, around 3 a.m., the male lead heard a strange noise. He had just woken up when the bedroom door was suddenly slammed shut. The male and female leads got up and went out to check. Shortly after leaving, the bedroom door was slammed shut again, followed by heavy stomping sounds from inside. The female lead screamed in fright. Link, can we film this kind of scene during the day? Filming at night is terrifying, even wearing clothes. I get chills down my spine, Monica said, rubbing her arms after filming the scene. It was summer, and the indoor temperature in San Diego was around 26 degrees Celsius. It wasn't cold, but Monica, wearing a tank top and shorts, hugged her arms, seemingly feeling cold. There are no ghosts in the world, what are you afraid of? Link put his arm around her shoulder, his hand stroking her smooth, fragrant shoulder. How can you be so sure there aren't ghosts? You know there are a lot of psychics in the entertainment industry. Sylvester Stallone's mother was a famous astrologer and psychic. When Stallone was a sports coach, his mother suggested he write screenplays and become an actor, saying he would definitely become a big star. Stallone did as his mother said, and now he's indeed a big star. Billy Bob Thornton's mother is also a famous psychic. I heard she can talk to ghosts. We should be careful, okay? You have a point. Link didn't argue with Monica about whether ghosts exist, but he understood from Monica's words that many people in Europe and America believe in ghosts, which is why horror movies are so popular there. Almost every year, there are horror movies with very good box office results. In the future, when promoting the film, they could focus on promoting paranormal events through the media, filling the American media with paranormal stories, ideally turning them into social news. Through such news, they could make the audience believe in ghosts and increase the horror atmosphere of the film. Link checked the time. It was almost midnight. Chris, you can go to sleep now. Let's stop filming here for today, okay? I'm so sleepy after playing the ghost all day. Chris Bauer yawned and went downstairs to his bedroom to rest. Link turned off the lights in several rooms, put the camera on the tripod, and aimed it at the large bed in the bedroom. After washing up, Monica lay on the bed in a tank top and shorts, propping her forehead up with her arms over her ample buttocks, striking a pose like Venus, her body curvaceous and alluring. Wow, so sexy. I think even Venus herself would be jealous of you, thanks. I'm on my safe period today, that's great. There's no better news. Link put down the towel he was using to dry his hair, lifted the blanket, and got into bed. Monica leaned on his shoulder, her hand on his chest, her eyes sparkling as she looked at him. Link, understanding her unspoken meaning, lowered his head and kissed her red lips, his hand slowly sliding down her cheek to her most comfortable spot. Thump. Suddenly, a noise came from downstairs. Monica jumped in fright, clinging tightly to his waist. Hey, Chris, get some sleep, don't mess around, Link called towards the door. I didn't, it was an accident. Okay, I just wanted to remind you to be quieter, it's been 4 days, so loud every day, be careful the neighbors complain, don't exaggerate, go to sleep early. Link lowered his head and kissed Monica, their lips pursing. The temperature in the bedroom gradually rose. A strange creaking sound came from under the bed. An evil spirit was at work. Chapter 46 filming wraps up. Link, as per your request, I've selected 10 new actors. Here are their profiles and videos. Take a look. While having breakfast, Daniel DeViro handed over a stack of files. It listed 10 young men who weren't particularly handsome, but seemed quite lively. These were the male leads he was preparing for the second version of Paranormal Activity. For the first version, he would film it as the male lead, produce the movie, and see how much experience in box office subsidies he could get. For the second version, he would film it again with a different male lead, edit the movie, and see how much box office subsidies and experience he could get. Whichever version offered the highest subsidies would be released. If both versions offered very little, he could recast the actors, replacing both the male and female leads, and film versions 3 and 4, maximizing profits was paramount. Among the 7 people Daniel sent, he unexpectedly saw profiles of 2 acquaintances, Matt Damon and Matt Rebranch. Neither of them seemed suitable. Matt Damon was the nerdy type, appearing honest and reliable, but not very outgoing, while the male lead, Micah, was lively, impulsive, somewhat childish, very curious, and prone to joking. Matt Damon was clearly not a good fit. Matt LeBlanc, who played Joey in Friends, is 25 years old and worked as a commercial model for 4 years. He's appeared in commercials for major brands like Levi's 501 Jeans, Coca-Cola, and Heinz Condiments, making him a celebrity in the advertising world. He's been working in Hollywood for the past 2 years but hasn't had any major hits yet. Matt LeBlanc's appearance and personality are more suitable, but his familiarity with several high-profile commercials makes him less fitting. After watching the audition videos of 10 people, Link found an actor named Jeremy Northam to be good. He's 26 years old and had a minor role in the 1988 miniseries The Blood of the Sky. Jeremy's audition performance was lively, with a slightly childlike laugh. Link selected 3 new actors from 10 for the second round of auditions. The final decision wouldn't just depend on personality and appearance, but also on their chemistry with Monica, whether they had good on-screen chemistry and looked like a couple. Daniel, please have these 3 prepare. The audition is in 3 days. Tell them in advance that the production budget is limited, the daily rate is $1,000. If they think it's too low, they don't have to participate. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. Daniel packed up the documents and left the room. Link and Monica continued filming at the villa. Bang! On the 19th day, while the male and female leads were eating, a loud crash came from upstairs. Startled, the male lead grabbed his camera and ran upstairs, searching the bedroom, storage room, and bathroom, but found nothing. Our photos, Monica called from outside. What photos? Link came out of the bedroom with his camera, the lens scanning everywhere. Look on the wall. On the wall outside the second-floor bedroom, a glass-framed photograph of a man and woman was shattered in the middle. The man's face had a long, rough, irregular scratch, not like a knife cut, but more like a claw, looking gruesome. Fuck. What's going on? Why is my face slashed? Yours isn't. Link, carrying a camera, pointed the lens at the broken frame. There's something here, Monica whispered from behind. What is it? It's here. Monica stood motionless, her eyes cautiously darting left and right, as if an unseen ghost was lurking beside her. What's here? What are you talking about? I don't know. I feel it breathing on me. Monica stood stiffly in the hallway, her expression one of terror. Link pointed the camera at her, moving the lens up and down. There was nothing behind Monica, then suddenly a strand of her hair, draped over her shoulder, was blown up. Ah! Monica screamed in fright and threw herself into Link's arms, wrapping her long legs around him. Cut, baby, you should have run downstairs, not here. I know, it's just scary. Monica tossed her hair and kissed his cheek. Don't scare yourself, there are no ghosts. Let's do it again. Link patted her bottom. Okay, scene 19, shot 6, take 2, action. Monica screamed and ran downstairs quickly. Cut, the male lead searched upstairs to no avail, watching the camera as he went downstairs. The evil spirit appeared for the first time during the day, doubling the terror. Dr. Frederick, invited by the female lead, told her that the exorcist, Dr. Adras, was abroad and would return in a few days. After entering the house, Dr. Frederick shrugged and shuddered, telling the two that the evil spirit was very powerful and extremely unwelcoming of his arrival. He couldn't help them. The doctor also told them that leaving the villa was useless, the evil spirit would continue to follow them. After saying this, Dr. Frederick fled in terror. Only the male and female protagonists remained in the villa. On the night of the 19th, the male and female protagonists went to bed. The camera continued to film the scene in the bedroom. Around 1 a.m., the sheet covering the female protagonist was blown up, revealing her feet, and a pair of claw marks appeared on the sheet. Outside the open door, the hallway light was turned on, then turned off a few seconds later. A faint shadow floated across the white door. Strange noises came from outside the room. The female protagonist was awakened. On the day of the 20th, the male protagonist watched the video footage he had taken the previous night. Through research, he discovered that similar incidents had occurred in the United States 60 and 20 years ago, including the New York morgue incident, the Montreal Leon Hotel ghost incident, and the Bell Witch incident in Tennessee. The most recent one was the haunted house incident in Connecticut in 1987, which is also the only paranormal event that the U.S. government has acknowledged to date. In the haunted house incident, the house's owner frequently heard strange noises coming from inside, and even the FBI's investigation using scientific equipment failed to uncover the cause. The protagonist of the haunted house incident was also a woman, a young and beautiful woman, whose family had also experienced a fire when she was a child, mirroring the protagonist's experience. The atmosphere of terror intensified. On the night of the 20th, the male and female protagonists were sleeping in bed when a faint, ghostly shadow drifted in through the open white door. The blanket covering the female protagonist was pulled back. An invisible hand grabbed her feet, dragging her from the bed to the floor, from the bedroom to the hallway. The female protagonist's screams echoed from the hallway. Katie, the male protagonist, jumped out of bed, flung open the suddenly closed door, and rushed outside to snatch the female protagonist back from the invisible monster. On the day of the 21st, the male protagonist noticed wounds on the female protagonist's back, as if she had been bitten by a monster. The two planned to leave the villa. The female protagonist, clutching a crucifix, suddenly entered a half-asleep, half-awake state, listless, indicating she didn't want to leave. The male and female protagonists continued to stay at the villa. On the night of the 21st, in front of the camera, the female protagonist suddenly sat up in the middle of the night, got out of bed, and stood next to the male protagonist, quietly watching him. More than an hour later, the female protagonist went downstairs. The male protagonist woke up and went downstairs to look for her. Screams and screams came from downstairs, then fell silent after a few seconds. The atmosphere in the room became extremely oppressive. After more than 10 seconds, heavy footsteps came from the stairs outside the bedroom. Suddenly, the male protagonist was smashed from the bedroom doorway in front of the camera lens. The camera was knocked askew, capturing the male protagonist's corpse on the ground, and the female protagonist walking in step by step, her white t-shirt covered in blood. Cut. Monica, slow down, watch your pace. 3, 2, 1, action. Monica slowly walked in, her long, dark hair flowing freely, her t-shirt stained with blood. She slowly crouched down, resting her head on the male lead's neck, then slowly raised her head, her face covered in blood, staring directly at the camera lens with a strange look, baring her teeth at the camera. Cut. Good, to be on the safe side, Link kept this take and filmed another one. Monica had become quite immersed in the role during filming, making the process increasingly smooth. Cut. That's a wrap, I declare. Ghost temporarily wrapped, Link shouted. Why is it temporarily wrapped? Monica stood up and asked. Let's edit it first and see how it goes. If it's not good, we'll need to find a different male actor to complement your performance. But many of your shots are independent, and the male lead rarely appears in front of the camera with the camera, so doing another take won't be too much trouble. It should take about 3 or 4 days to film, no problem. I feel great staying here. I hope I can stay a few more days. Monica took a tissue and wiped the tomato juice off her face. I'm planning to buy this villa. We can come here for vacations in the future. Real estate in San Diego County is much cheaper than in Los Angeles. This property, with an area of over 2,000 square meters, 2 floors, 4 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, an outdoor pool, basketball court, garden, and other facilities, is priced at only $328,000, much cheaper than in Beverly Hills. If Shutter is a big hit, this property will appreciate in value, so buying it will be an investment. Vacation? You dare to stay here alone? Monica laughed. Isn't it you I have? We'll go together. Link lowered his head and kissed her lips, soft and sweet with a tangy taste of tomato juice. Monica wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed him passionately. God, it's happening again. I've had enough of you all. Chris Bauer, pretending to be a ghost, rolled his eyes at the doorway and stomped heavily down the stairs. Link kicked the door shut, pulled Monica into his arms, and collapsed onto the bed. He rewarded himself for his exhaustion with her smooth, warm skin. The camera on the tripod continued recording everything that happened in the bedroom. Suddenly, a cool breeze blew open the curtains, and Link couldn't help but shiver. Chapter 47 Role Audition. After the first take of Shutter wrapped, Link returned to Guessing Pictures Studios in Los Angeles to edit the footage and audition for the lead role. The audition office was also located at Guessing Pictures. 5 people had come for auditions, so 2 more were added at the last minute. Lee Uzieli was in charge of this audition process. Next, Mr. Matt LeBlanc, Lee Uzieli, wearing a women's blouse and straight-leg trousers, a name tag hanging from her swan-like neck, stood at the door holding a folder, calling out names down the hallway outside the office. Hello, beautiful lady. Matt LeBlanc, who played Joy in Friends, wearing a t-shirt and jeans, flashed Liu Xiaoli a bright smile as he walked to the door. "Hello, Mr. Reblanc, please come in." Matt Reblanc entered the office. Link, Daniel DeVito, and Monica sat behind a long desk, discussing the previous person's performance. Director Link, "Hello. I'm a big fan of yours, I really enjoy your films, and it's an honor to meet you here." Matt Reblanc smiled broadly at Link, his face showing a mixture of genuine excitement and admiration. Mr. Reblanc, "Hello. I've seen your commercials, and it's an honor to meet you here." Link stepped forward, shook hands with Matt Reblanc, and handed him a piece of paper, asking him to try acting it out. The paper contained a scene with 5 lines of dialogue. The male lead, Mika, stood in a swimming pool, using his fingers as a gun, firing rapidly, then pretending to be a fisherman, pulling on the fishing line with both hands, diligently reeling in the bait. The female lead teased him for being childish, but also liked his childishness. This scene served to highlight the male lead's character, lively, humorous, childlike, and curious, setting the stage for what the protagonist would do next. Director Link, "I'm ready," Matt Reblanc said after reading the description on the paper. "All right, Mr. Reblanc, please begin your performance." Link gestured for him to begin. Bang. 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 Matt Reblanc held up 2 fingers, aiming and firing them into the air, mimicking the sound of bullets firing. He was very serious. "Ah, look, I caught a big fish." After demonstrating the shooting, Matt Reblanc leaned back, holding what looked like a fishing rod, performing without any props. Link watched him quietly, fingers spread. Matt Reblanc had received professional acting training, and his acting skills were above average. Mr. Reblanc, "That's enough. I still need to review your lines." "Okay, no problem." Liu Xiaoli handed Matt Reblanc a second sheet of paper. Monica also stood up and walked in front of Matt Reblanc to cooperate with his performance. "Wow, Mom, you're so beautiful." Matt Reblanc looked at Monica Bellucci with burning eyes. "Thank you," Monica shrugged reservedly. 3 minutes later, Matt Reblanc prepared to finish. The two began to rehearse their lines. "Now I'm going to explain this exquisite and beautiful instrument. I really like it. This is my guitar." Matt Reblanc pretended to be carrying a camera, pointing it at the guitar on the sofa and Monica. "Haha, you're so cute." "What are you doing now?" Monica said. "I really like your feet, they're so sexy." Matt Reblanc pretended to move the camera on his shoulder, focusing the lens on Monica's feet. "My toenails need repainting." "Stop filming my feet, how about something sexy? How about a striptease?" "What, please? Just take your underwear down to your bra halfway through." Matt Reblanc laughed. Monica waved her hand as if to hit him. "No, I'll do whatever you want as long as you dance." "No, what a spoilsport," Matt Reblanc said discontentedly. "Cut. That's it, Mr. Reblanc, thank you for auditioning. We'll let you know the results within a day." "Okay, Director Link, the script is great. I hope we'll have the opportunity to work together." Matt Reblanc smiled, politely said goodbye, and left. "Link, what do you think of him?" Monica wiggled her hips and sat back down in her original spot. "He's alright. Let's see the next one." Link picked up a pen and put a, after Matt Reblanc's name. Matt Reblanc's acting was pretty good, but he and Monica didn't quite match as a couple. He was quite famous in the advertising industry. He could be a backup option. If there wasn't anyone more suitable, he could be used as a trial. "Next, Mr. Jeremy Northam," Liu Xiaoli called out from outside the door. After a day of auditions, after looking at them all, Jeremy Northam was still the most suitable. Jeremy Northam was 188 centimeters tall, quite handsome, had acted in stage plays, had solid acting skills, and was also a good match for Monica. After casting the male lead, Link handed the script to Jeremy Northam, giving him a week to prepare for the role. Link returned to the editing studio to continue editing the videotapes of live, paranormal activity. After reviewing the finished film, he was very pleased. As a professional director, his filming techniques were more refined, and he understood how to create a terrifying atmosphere, resulting in higher quality shots and a suspenseful effect that was in no way inferior to the original. After editing, Link hired renowned sound engineer Tom Fleshman to adjust the sound and mix for the film, enhancing its horror. While Link also had some sound engineering knowledge, a professional sound engineer was far more adept at sound design and production. After post-production, Link invited Monica, Liu Xiaoli, and Daniel DeVito to watch the final cut in the company's small screening room. The sound quality in the screening room was excellent, with surround sound, making the sounds even more terrifying. Liu Xiaoli, a woman in her late 20s, screamed like a little girl while watching this kind of movie. She only managed to watch it for 13 days before resolutely refusing to watch any more, saying she was too scared to go home and sleep afterward. Monica, who directed her own horror film, was also scared while watching it, clinging to his arm the entire time. Every time a ghost was about to appear, she would turn her head and lean on his shoulder, avoiding looking at the screen. After 89 minutes, the movie ended. Liu Xiaoli thought the movie was extremely scary, and she wouldn't go even if given a ticket. Monica thought it was great, believing that viewers who enjoy thrillers would definitely like it. Chris Bauer, who played the ghost during filming, did odd jobs on set and didn't even understand the script. When watching the finished film, he tightly hugged his arms, his arm muscles bulging. Fuck. That's terrifying. All those strange noises were caused by me. How did they become so scary on screen? The buzzing sound was so terrifying, like an evil spirit breathing in my ear, Chris Bauer exclaimed, covering his eyes with his hand. Chris Bauer's feedback on the film was relatively positive, indicating that ordinary viewers like him, who didn't have much appreciation for art, also enjoyed it. Only Daniel DeVito in the audience had a serious expression, his face full of criticism and uncertainty. Daniel, just say what you want to say. Link, the film's suspense is quite good, but the found footage style of horror is unprecedented. The camera keeps shaking, and the plot has little depth and no artistry. After its release, it will probably be criticized by film critics, who will say that this film is poorly made. This film was shot with a handheld camera, the camera is shaking back and forth, which looked uncomfortable and even nauseating. This shooting technique is often used in live television broadcasts and documentaries, and no one has used this method to shoot a film yet. No precedent means risk, and it means that it is uncertain whether the audience will be willing to pay for this kind of film. Before the film's release, Daniel DeVito wasn't sure how much it would gross at the box office. However, Link had previously stated his intention to explore new cinematic territories and filming methods. Judging from Shudder, Link certainly explored and innovated, and quite boldly at that. It's okay, I'm a newcomer, I don't need to worry about word of mouth, making money is more important. Link understood Daniel's concerns. It was 1992, and films and audiences were in a more artistic phase. Most films shown in theaters were sophisticated, balancing art and commercial appeal. Pure popcorn movies were relatively rare. Directors and actors seemed to look down on commercial films. Unlike after 2010, when theaters were filled with sequels to blockbusters, Shudder used a found footage filming method. This method was too avant-garde, a groundbreaking film. Unlike before the original Shudder, found footage horror films like The Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, Quarantine, and Wreck were already prevalent, with many successful examples. Paranormal Activity was entirely a copycat film, and its release carried little risk. Whether Paranormal Activity would have fared at the box office in the 1990s is still uncertain. Furthermore, Link values the system's evaluations and rewards more than box office success. Chapter 48 Filming begins. Film production complete. Box office subsidy system is currently compiling statistics. Host participation rate 81.3%. Film completion quality 86.6%. Rewards 3.2x box office subsidy. Director experience plus 20%. Director stamina plus 10%. Remaining trial attempts during the novice period. 1. Participation rate decreased by nearly 14 percentage points compared to Buried Alive, while completion quality increased by 1 percentage point. Regarding rewards, box office subsidy decreased by 0.8, director experience decreased by 10 percentage points, and the director stamina reward remained unchanged. Below this is an additional remaining trial attempts during the novice period. Does this mean there's a limit to the number of trials during the novice period? Will the system change after the novice period? Before he could fully grasp it, the system data flashed several times and disappeared from his sight, like scorching spots left after his eyes had seen the sun. Boss, the film is very good. Should we reshoot it with a different director? Liu Xiaoli stood in front of him, holding the documents. Let's film. Monica and I don't look quite right as a couple. Let's try a different Western face, it is a bit mismatched. Monica is older than you, and her face is more mature. The two of you playing a couple look like half-siblings. which is a bit jarring. Are you settling into your new apartment? Have you encountered any problems? It's great. The apartment is very close to Walmart, Macy's, and the Metropolitan Center, making shopping very convenient. I've also contacted a few acquaintances from mainland China these past few days. Do you know Wen Ji from the cast of A Native of Beijing and New York? She also lives in Los Angeles, but in Irvine in the South. And have you seen The Last Emperor? Wu Junmei, who played the Empress Wang Xiu, is also in Los Angeles. She lives in the western part of the San Gabriel Valley. There's also Chen Chong, who played Wan Rong. We had dinner together at Joe Restaurant last weekend. Would you like to meet them? I can introduce you to them. They know you're the director of Buried Alive and say you're very talented. Liu Xiaoli's tone was much more relaxed than before, and it was clear that she was happy to have reconnected with so many acquaintances in a foreign land. Sure, let's get together for dinner when we are done. Great. Leave the arrangements to me, as long as you have time. Liu Xiaoli patted her ample chest, her face beaming. Today, she was dressed very elegantly, wearing a light gray blazer over a white bralette, revealing her delicate collarbone and a thin necklace. Compared to European and American women, her figure wasn't particularly curvaceous, but her capable and intellectual aura, combined with the gentle grace of a young woman, was very attractive. What are you looking at? Stockings? Cough. Your shoes are beautiful. They match your skirt perfectly, you pervert. I thought you'd become serious, but you haven't changed at all. Your eyes still like to wander. Liu Xiaoli raised her foot to kick him, but suddenly saw someone coming down the aisle, immediately becoming serious, handing over the folder, saying, "Boss, please sign." After completing the first viewing of the film, Link didn't rest much, taking the crew back to Villa N23 in Mission Valley, San Diego, to continue filming. During his second take, numerous news reports surfaced about the failure of his new film, leading to recasting and reshoot. Some filmmakers speculated that he didn't know how to direct. They suggested that his previous film, Buried, was a small, one-man operation, and the new film's larger crew made it difficult for him to manage, resulting in this situation. Other media outlets commented that after the success of Buried, he wanted to showcase his abilities with a major production, but his limited capabilities led to the failure and the need for a reshoot. Rumors even circulated that Link had invested millions of dollars in the new film, and the failure resulted in millions of dollars in losses, putting the newly minted millionaire Link at risk of bankruptcy. Following these rumors, Michael Leeson, CEO of Guess Me Pictures, spoke on Link's behalf to the media. He stated that the rumors were false, the filming was successful, and Link's decision to recast the lead actor was to improve the film and deliver a high-quality, creative movie. Leeson also mentioned that Link had publicly stated before filming that it was an experimental, new type of film. Anyone who has studied chemistry knows that changing reagents during experiments is normal. We hope the media won't speculate wildly or spread rumors. Despite this, many rumors still circulate in the media. Scene 1, Shot 1, Action. In Villa N23, San Diego, the second take of Paranormal Activity begins. Because the male lead frequently films the female lead with a camera, his position is behind the camera, acting as both cinematographer and director, so his screen time is limited. During filming, many scenes featuring the female lead alone didn't need to be reshot, only scenes of the male and female lead sleeping, eating, and the male lead pointing the camera at a mirror were reshot. However, to ensure the film's quality, Link decided to spend more time revisiting the entire plot from beginning to end, filming from an observer's perspective to see if the quality would improve. In the second take, he only directed, not acted, making the work much easier. Actually, he doesn't particularly enjoy acting. Being a star brings too much attention, increasing his workload and causing unnecessary trouble during filming. Cut. No, let's do it again. Link didn't point out whose performance was bad, but instead made them reflect and adjust accordingly. Actually, Monica's performance in this scene was the one that was bad. She wasn't as engaged as she was the first time, unable to embody the female lead, or rather, the new male lead's girlfriend. Her delivery of lines was weak. Monica brought this up last night while they were sleeping, saying that filming the same scene a second time lacked freshness, and that she couldn't like Jeremy Northam the way she liked him. Link's advice was that if she wanted to be a professional actress, she needed to learn to adjust her mindset. She couldn't let difficulties lead to negativity or a lack of effort, that would be detrimental to her development. To comfort her, Link not only physically demonstrated in bed, using his newly added 10% of directorial energy, but also told her that it was okay if she couldn't perform as well as the first time, but she should try her best. Her performance was mainly to support the male lead. If she performed poorly, Jeremy Northam wouldn't be able to perform better either. Monica agreed, hugged his neck, and praised him for being even better. After convincing Monica, she was more attentive during the second take. And the filming went smoothly. Cut. Great, take a 30-minute break. Practice your lines, then we'll continue filming in 30 minutes. Link put down the camera and wiped his hands with a towel from the table. While they were filming, two tourists arrived at the villa, Quentin Tarantino and Steven Soderbergh. They followed Chris Bauer to the villa and stood at the door, observing. Link, is this the film set? A villa, a big bed, two actors? Are you sure you're making a serious movie? Quentin Tarantino spoke in a way that mirrored his character in the script. He never stopped talking. It's a serious film, a new kind of film, are you sure? You just filmed Monica's feet, and I even heard the male actor asking the female actor to do a striptease. Is this a serious film? Link, you're a very talented guy, especially in directing and screenwriting. You have a lot of potential. I hope you take this job seriously and don't be too willful and go down a path of no return. No, you can come and see it at the test screening. Zero pornography, okay, we'll watch it here. You guys continue filming, just pretend we're not here. Quentin sat down with his arms crossed. After Monica and Jeremy Northam were ready, Link carried the camera and continued filming. Scene 6, Shot 3, Action. Why did you take the camera out? In the bathroom, Monica, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, was washing her face at the sink and said to the camera lens, "We can use this to film something else." Jeremy Northam held the handheld camera and pointed it at Monica. His movements were reflected in the mirror on the wall. "Watch out, you're about to bump into the shower head. We can shoot something else, like what I just mentioned." "We can, but we can't," Monica said. Cut. Link called a pause and went into the bathroom. "Monica, you need to relax a bit more. You're a couple, and this conversation is a joke. You need to immerse yourself in the situation and feel how this joke will affect the female lead's emotions. You did a great job last time. You can think back carefully and remember how you acted that time. I understand, I need to adjust. Okay, we'll continue filming in 3 minutes. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49: The Killer's Elegy. At midday, the sun shone brightly, and the small garden behind the villa was bursting with blooms. There were white camellias, bright red poppies, and pale purple lavender, a riot of colors. Link had ordered a large table of Mexican food from the restaurant next door and invited Quentin Tarantino, Steven Soderbergh, and the crew, who had come from afar, to eat in the yard. "Link, what kind of movie is this? A romance or a drama?" Quentin asked, munching on a pork chop, his mouth greasy. "A horror movie." "A horror movie? Cough cough, are you kidding me? I just watched a little while, and I didn't find it scary at all. Who can you scare with something like this?" "Quentin, stop talking. We've only watched a little bit, we don't know the plot structure or what Link is thinking, so let's not say anything more," said the bald Steven Soderbergh. "I just don't want to see Link go further down the wrong path." Okay, let's not talk about your movies. Link, you know, there's a really talented new director who's emerged in the industry these days, named Robert Rodriguez, a Mexican director, not a Mexican director, but a Mexican-American, and his movies are filmed in Mexico, Steven Soderbergh said. "Okay, do you know how much he made for a movie?" "How much?" $7,000. Just $7,000, more than 10,000 less than Barrett. "Do you know where that guy earned that $7,000? Haha, to make the movie, he was a guinea pig for a medical institution, participating in experiments on a new cholesterol-lowering drug. He even wrote the script while locked in the lab. Last week, he brought the movie to Hollywood looking for distributors, just like you did back then. If it were 3 or 4 months ago, no film company would have agreed to it. But this year, you appeared in the film industry, and the huge success of Barrett left many film company bosses very disappointed. Now, when film directors actively seek cooperation, Those film companies become very polite, seriously receiving every director who comes to them for cooperation and carefully watching their films. As long as the completion level is high and there are some highlights, they will take the plunge. This Robert Rodriguez took a movie videotape to Columbia Pictures for cooperation. After watching the movie, the people from Columbia Pictures thought it was pretty good and immediately agreed to cooperate, buying the distribution rights for the movie for $70,000, planning to officially release it after the summer season. This movie supposedly has great box office potential, and that director, Robert Rodriguez, also has great potential, Quentin Tarantino rambled on. The barbecue on the table was almost finished by Link and Steven Soderbergh. This is a good thing. It means our independent film scene has gained another promising director, Link said, raising his glass to clink with Quentin and Steven. Link knew the director Quentin was referring to, Robert Rodriguez. Like Quentin, Rodriguez was a self-taught director who rose to fame by making low-budget black comedies, and his films are all very distinctive. His representative works include El Mariachi, From Dusk Till Dawn, Sin City, Spy Kids, Machete Kills, and Alita, Battle Angel. El Mariachi is likely the film Quentin mentioned, with a production cost of only $7,000. Robert Rodriguez later collaborated with Quentin on several films, including 4 Rooms, From Dusk Till Dawn, Grindhouse, and Sin City. However, at this time, Quentin was unaware that he was about to have another collaborator. Link, focus on making movies. The directing world changes very quickly. For non-academic directors like us, once we take the wrong path, it's hard to recover, Quentin said. That makes sense. I'll remember your words. How's your new movie coming along? Can we not talk about the new movie? I'm getting so annoyed these days. Oh? I've read your new script. The story is great. Miramax should be happy to invest in your new movie. What's bothering you? Because of you, Link. You've messed up my plans. How so? I originally thought my Pulp Fiction script was pretty good, but after reading your Kill Bill is so cool. Blood, violence, exciting fights, classic revenge plot. That's the kind of movie I've always wanted to make. I feel it's even better than Pulp Fiction. Now I'm considering whether to shoot Kill Bill first and put Pulp Fiction later, Quentin said, stroking his chin. I don't recommend you do that. First, Kill Bill has a much larger scale and a lot of actors. Filming this kind of movie requires a very high level of control, which seems a bit beyond your current level. Second, Kill Bill also has a very high investment, about $40 or $50 million, equivalent to a big-budget production. I don't think Miramax Films will be willing to invest in this kind of movie before you've achieved success, Quentin. Link is right. Starting with small projects and then big-budget productions is more conducive to the growth of us new directors. You've only debuted this year. Don't be too eager for success. Being too impetuous will make you more likely to fail. Steven Soderbergh wiped his bald head with a tissue. It was probably splattered with pork and beef fat while grilling meat. After wiping it with a tissue, his originally bald head became shiny, glittering in the San Diego sun. PFFT. Monica, sitting next to Link, couldn't help but laugh out loud. Alright, I'll listen to you guys. We'll shoot small projects first, then big productions. Quentin Tarantino picked up a glass of ice-cold beer and gulped it down. He put down the glass, wiped his mouth with his palm, and his eyes darted around before landing on Monica Bellucci. Monica, are you Italian? Yes, I'm from Castello in the Umbria region of Italy, a true Italian. I'm Italian too, but not so authentic. My Italian father only gave me an Italian face, he didn't give me anything else. Director Quentin, I don't think so. You not only have the physical features of an Italian, but also the romance, humor, and artistic temperament of an Italian. These shouldn't be overlooked. Haha, well said. Link, where did you find Monica? She's a stunning beauty with a captivating charm. I need a beauty like Monica for the female lead in my next movie. How about asking her to be the female lead in my next movie? Quentin Tarantino winked and grinned mischievously. You can give it a try. Monica, this is a good opportunity. You can buy Quentin a few drinks and get him to settle on the role here, to prevent him from backing out later. Monica, how about it? If you finish these 2 cans of beer, and Pulp Fiction gets approved, I can let you try out for my leading lady. Quentin Tarantino pointed to the 2 large cans of stout on the table and laughed. Director Quentin, no need. I've seen your Reservoir Dogs, it's not bad. But it's a little bit worse than Link's Barrett. I think I can continue to work with Link." Monica Bellucci smiled slightly, linking her arm with Link's. PFFT ha ha ha, Quentin, Link kindly invited you to drink, and you come to dig up his rose, didn't you prick your hand? Steven Soderbergh patted Quentin's shoulder and laughed. Quentin Tarantino's lips twitched, and he glared at Steven. "Okay, stop joking, let's keep drinking," Link said, raising his beer. After seeing Quentin Tarantino and Steven Soderbergh off in the afternoon, the Shutter crew continued filming. Because it's a thriller, the presence of Tarantino and Steven weakened the eerie atmosphere of the villa, making filming difficult. After they left, the atmosphere returned to its usual quietude, and filming proceeded smoothly. Chapter 50, Filming wraps up again. Filming for Paranormal Activity 2 wrapped after 6 days of intensive shooting at the villa. The film was shot in San Diego for 16 days, longer than expected, and cost $20,000 over budget. The total investment, including actor salaries, props, costumes, makeup, food, accommodation, and post-production, was approximately $85,000. If his salary as director and lead actor is included, the investment was over $500,000. In fact, after finishing the film, he didn't believe that the original director, Oren Peli, could have completed the film with only $11,000. Even with all non-professional actors, 7 days of shooting, and post-production issues such as subtitles, sound mixing, and digital format conversion, the cost was still over $50,000. However, the low investment was a good selling point. When the film was released, he claimed it was only $20,000. After wrapping up Paranormal Activity 2, Link and the crew returned to Los Angeles. After handing the apartment keys to Monica, he took the videotapes back to the editing studio of Guest C Pictures to begin editing Paranormal Activity 2. Editing the same film a second time went much more smoothly, with a rough cut completed in 3 days. However, while watching the second version, he noticed a significant problem. Monica's performance in the second take was considerably worse than the first. While not immediately apparent when viewing individual shots, the differences became magnified in the final cut, highlighting the subtle differences. From her expressions to her lines to her movements, she lacked the naturalness and ease she displayed when acting opposite him. Her interactions with a male lead, Jeremy Northam, also lacked intimacy. Although they appeared well matched, their relationship seemed superficial. Link sat in the editing room, repeatedly watching both versions. After several viewings, he devised a plan: extract Monica's performance from the first version and include it in the second. This idea was bold, yet highly feasible. In the film, the male lead's role was similar to that of a cinematographer and director, frequently filming the female lead from behind the camera. Aside from nighttime sleeping scenes, he rarely appeared on screen with her during the day, mostly speaking through voice. He immediately got to work. He continued to immerse himself in the editing studio, which had a bathroom and a bed. He spent all his time there except for meals. It took him 4 days. After rough and fine cuts, he finally perfectly merged the two versions, creating version 3. With post-production sound effects and mixing, version 3 was nearing completion. However, while watching version 3, he noticed something strange that sent chills down his spine. In version 3, it seemed as if a non-existent person had appeared in the villa, wandering around the male and female leads and constantly creating a terrifying atmosphere. This was even more pronounced in Monica. Her eyes and movements had an indescribable eeriness in the new version. The sense of dread was stronger than in versions 1 and 2, almost tangible. When he watched the finished film alone in the editing studio, he always felt like something was standing behind him, a chill running down his spine. When he turned around sharply, there was nothing there. This is also the charm of film. Individual shots, taken alone, are unremarkable. When these shots are edited and spliced together to form a complete film, many elements are amplified, creating a transformative effect. Shots containing romantic elements amplify emotions, making the plot sweet, sad, or moving. Shots containing comedic elements amplify emotions, making the film evoke laughter and tears, or even uncontrollable laughter. Horror films take this effect to the extreme. While they may not elicit laughter, tears, or deep emotion, they increase heart rate, stimulate the endocrine system, and influence psychological and mental states, a deeper level of stimulation. When a horror film reaches its peak, it can even affect perception and cognition, causing a disordered perception of the surrounding environment. For example, while watching version 3, even with nothing behind them, The film's stimulation might create a perceptual feedback that something is there, giving a feeling of extreme insecurity. The stronger this psychological stimulation, the higher the film's quality. Link, what did you call me for? Version 2 is finished editing. Can you take a look and see if there are any continuity errors? Find them and I'll cut them out, no problem. This is a piece of cake. After watching version 3 twice, Link felt very uncomfortable, so he called Chris Bauer to come and keep him company. The movie started playing. At first, Chris Bauer crossed his arms, flexing his strong muscles, and watched the movie leisurely. After watching for more than 20 minutes, on the night of the 13th, Chris Bauer started covering his eyes with his hands, and goosebumps appeared on his exposed arms. Hiss, this is terrifying, Link. Is this version wrong? How can it be so scary? There really seems to be a ghost in that room. Chris Bauer not only covered his eyes, but also planned to plug his ears with tissues. Don't scare yourself. You made those sounds, don't you know what's going on? It's different, completely different. During filming, I was only making noise outside. Now, the movie has not only sound but also visuals. Anyway, I feel terrified. Chris Bauer scratched the back of his head and couldn't help turning to look behind him. Don't be afraid, there are two of us, it's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, I'll hold on a little longer. Chris Bauer held on until the evening of the 17th, refusing to watch it again, even for money, fearing he would be scared to death in his apartment that night. Link had no choice but to call Daniel DeViro and ask him to bring two brave employees to the editing room to help. More than 10 minutes later, Daniel DeViro came in with two production staff. The five of them watching the horror movie together reduced the suspense considerably, but it was still very scary. While watching the movie, Daniel DeVito clenched his fists tightly, and a fine layer of sweat appeared on his forehead. The two employees, like Chris Bauer, turned around to look behind them 3 or 4 times during the movie. One of them couldn't help but scream 3 times and turned his head away, unable to watch any further. Link, is there something wrong with this movie? Daniel DeVito wiped the sweat from his bald spot with a tissue, noticing sweat on his glasses as well. He took them off to wipe them as well, revealing his slightly larger than average head, making him look even more comical. What's wrong? Isn't it too scary? Even if the 5 of us watched it together with the lights on, it would feel very uncomfortable. The theater lights are dim, and the sound effects amplify the sound, making the horror even stronger. Many viewers might not be able to stand it. You underestimate the audience. Viewers who like horror movies are generally quite daring. They like to seek thrills by watching these kinds of movies, and the stronger the thrill, the more they like it. We just need to capture this audience and satisfy their needs. We don't need to worry about box office revenue. When do you plan to release it? No rush. We'll have a meeting tomorrow to discuss the pre-release publicity. This movie is quite novel, and to ensure it doesn't lose money at the box office, we have to put thought into the publicity. Okay. After Daniel DeViro and the others left, Link continued to look for flaws and refine the film's visuals alone in the editing room. Watching it alone, that chilling feeling returned, sending shivers down my spine. That's the downside of being a horror film director. Ordinary people watching horror movies can cover their eyes and turn away when they see scary things. But horror film directors have to stare. They have to confront the fear head-on. The only downside is the significant after effects. Thanks to Repeat Grade Rice Worm for the donation, plus one more thanks. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.